It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Angelo,
and Riley.
And luckily, everything seems to be working fine today. We have a producer, Penguin, in the studio, just make sure everything works out for us. It seems to be working fine. So
last week we had some issues. Last Sunday we had some internet issues here at the studio. So
yeah, but
that's where we were last week, dealing with internet issues.
The surge apparently blew up a bunch of our power supplies, but Penguin got it fixed, and that's awesome.
He's a good tech guy. I like him.
And so there's so much to talk about. We have obviously the biggest news, like seriously every time I've gone on Twitter, and then again, we do all get served different algorithms, and we were talking about it before the show, we're all in different bubbles. Every time I get on Twitter, there's like nothing except Charlie Kirk posts. Is that how it is for you guys?
That's how I've read Twitter lately, but then again, this story is a massive story breaking across America. I mean, it's insane that there is a man out there who is willing to kill somebody over speech and opinions that they don't like.
I'm leaning it towards it was Israel.
You think so?
But the thing is, I also don't put anything past our government, and why would the United States, the federal government, just be okay with Israel coming in constantly killing people in their own country if they weren't with it? Like, I honestly think it's the United States and Israel when I say Israel. Because, like, in my opinion, the worst government in the whole world is the United States.
So how do you explain, I mean, I can get you on the United States government being the worst, but how do you explain the idea of Tyler Robinson being the suspected killer?
Just because there's always a patsy. Okay. Like, that makes no sense, really.
So you're saying that he's a patsy?
Well, that's what I would be saying, but I also don't think it matters if he's a patsy or he's, like, directly controlled by them or what. But I would lean towards patsy because he just seems like okay, what's your motivation? You had a trans girl or boyfriend? I didn't figure out what the person goes by.
A guy going to trans woman, so yeah.
Yeah, apparently they found that out, that it's possible that his live-in partner roommate was dating him, and that could be his motivation, is what people are saying. Even though they have no manifesto, they have things written on the bullets that don't mean anything, in my opinion. It's like they had weird little sexual innuendo things written on the bullet, and one of the bullets said, "If you read this, you are gay."
LMAO.
Yeah.
I wonder how they got it on a bullet.
You just take a knife and scratch it on there.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of time.
And that's tiny. like the whole tire casing, that's one thing. Oh, maybe they actually found the casing.
Well, it's their long casings. It's the 30-06 is like an inch and a half.
For some reason, I was thinking like they only found on the bullet itself, but I guess the casings would be on the roof or whatever where they shot from.
Well, I think what they were referencing is that Roman soldiers, like the sling, you know what a sling is? Like the thing that David used to kill Goliath, like you spin it around. So you used to make little lead pellets en masse, right? And you'd carry those as like ammo for your sling, and Roman soldiers would inscribe little things on it, like take this or catch or eat this in Latin on their little bullets for their sling that they would launch.
Whoa, I never heard that.
Or like people would paint things on bombs.
Yeah, I've seen people like that one American politician that went over to Israel and wrote like something like "This one's for America" or something on a bomb that went to go then.
Yeah, well, they did that stuff in World War II. They probably put messages on arrows. They've been doing messages on things like that for thousands of years.
So it's not entirely impossible that this shooter wrote things on bullets just to kill Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not impossible.
Well, I know like the up, down, down, the upright, down, 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 whatever is from a video game.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was like he had an up arrow, a right arrow, and then 3 down arrows. Is like
Like a cheat code on a
Yeah, it's like a code for a
console?
video game, and it calls it a 500 kilogram bomb.
Okay.
And that's kind of that's would be in my head. That's the reference I caught. It's from that
That's really weird.
video game.
How many casings were at this place? Because it seems like, from what I've heard from a video, there was only one shot.
That's a good point. I didn't think about
4,
that. So why were there 4 casings?
because it was a bolt action rifle.
So what does that mean?
So you can only fit like 4 rounds, 4 to 5
Oh.
rounds in the gun.
The rest were inside the gun. Still
Yeah, so he shot
Okay,
one,
that
left
makes sense.
it inside the gun. So they had 1 spent casing, and then they had 3 unfired rounds left.
Okay. So,
Alright.
did they have...
Most sporterized guns, because like most states say if you're hunting, you can only have so many rounds in the rifle. So when you take a gun and it's quote sporterized, they demanufacture it to a point where it can only hold so many rounds, which is like 3 with 1 in the chamber. You can kind of like mash 1 in there so you can fit 4, and then you can sell it as a hunting rifle instead of a old service rifle from like World War I or World War II, because that's what it is. It's just like a super old imported gun from Europe.
Well, we do have a caller already on the line, so I'm going to go to the phones. We have Turd Ferguson in Pennsylvania. Turd, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind? Oh, looks
Turd
like we had you
stole
muted.
news
Sorry about
invasion.
that. Go restart, please, Turd. Sorry.
God rest Charlie Kirk's soul. He was an amazing person, and he deserved better. And I hope the guy that murdered him is tried in the court of law, but the fool has to suffer the long, hard penis of the law and gets executed under the death penalty laws, hopefully, in the most violent way possible. I don't know if we still have the electric chair in this country.
I mean, you mean
But I
in
think
Utah?
that's what he-
Because I think they do. Well, they probably do lethal.
I think they have the
Utah has
firing squad.
Yeah, Utah has the firing squad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's quick. That's too quick.
Oh,
This
you
guy
want him
doesn't
to
deserve a
saffer?
quick death. Yes, I do want him to
Okay.
suffer.
What
That's
if it's
he
not really
deserves.
him and he's just a patsy? How would you feel if you found that out?
I mean, I guess I'd feel bad, but if he goes through the process and they find out that he's guilty based on the evidence and all that stuff, then that's good enough for me.
It says
And,
Utah primarily uses lethal injection, but still allows for execution by firing squad if lethal injection drugs are unavailable or if the method is requested by the inmate. I
Well,
can't imagine
I
requesting
don't-
that.
I mean, I think a firing squad is just too nice. It's too humane for what this guy deserves. I think he should have to suffer more than Charlie Kirk's family is suffering right now, and that's hard to do. It might be impossible.
You want to have to
with
pay for it
electric
because
chair.
like the way to make him suffer more would be cause him to like live in a prison cell for his whole life. Do you want to pay for it the whole time?
Well, I definitely don't want to pay for it.
That's what's going to happen when you put him on death row, though.
Well, at least at some point I'll be able to stop paying for it, which is not the case if you don't put him on death row. Then you got to pay his whole life. But that doesn't matter to me. I mean, he's a criminal and he committed a political assassination through a means of terrorism. And I still do believe in the death penalty. I do believe that there are some people that forfeit their right to live, quite frankly, and I think that he's one of them. And so Charlie Kirk's family deserves justice, and nothing will bring Charlie Kirk back,
Mhm.
but they do deserve justice. And, I got to say, people actually really underestimate the heaviness and the consequences of the event that happened a few days ago. I mean, I've been saying for probably 15 years now that the United States is in a slow state of collapse.
Mhm.
I recognized it when I was a very young man in college. And, just my experiences in college and taking classes at Towson University, I learned a lot there. And I realized early on in some of these economics classes that I took that the United States was in a slow state of collapse. And then the other day, it reached a boiling point. And now I think the other day in the assassination, the political terroristic assassination of Charlie Kirk actually marked the collapse of Western society. It's all downhill from here. It's all going to be hyperinflation, recessions, deep recessions, poverty, rioting, crime waves, and the collapse of the West. And people, I don't think realize that. They don't really realize that the event that happened the other day actually marks the the official collapse of Western society.
Why do you believe that marks the official collapse of Western society? Isn't there other events that we could point to mark that? Like COVID, the people being locked in their houses?
I mean, that was all leading up to it. But, actually, I don't think COVID itself was the collapse of the West. It was the inflation that ensued afterwards, if you want to point to any of those events. But even that didn't really mark it. Wednesday marked it. And hyperinflation, once that sets in, everyone will realize that we are, in fact, now living in a collapsed society. And hyperinflation will come probably in the next 2 years.
I think it was Jeremy Kaufman that posted this. I'm not somebody who's like really into like ancient Rome type history, the history of ancient Rome. But Jeremy Kaufman posted this thing that I had never heard of before. There were these two brothers, Tiberius and Gaius. That's how I'm going to choose to say it. The last name is Gracchus. And both of them were assassinated about 11 years apart or 12 years apart in 133 BCE and in 121 BCE and are widely considered a key turning point toward the collapse of the Roman Republic. Their deaths established political violence as an acceptable tool and exposed deep destabilizing divisions within Roman society.
Yeah, and that's a great point. We can look at Rome as kind of a good example. And, even the United States is really a bigger empire in a lot of ways than Rome was. Yeah. But there were three key things that happened in Rome that I think really, really caused it to collapse. And that was the political violence. That was the first one. There was the overreach of the military in Rome and the foreign intervention. I think we're seeing a pattern here already. And then the last one was the devaluation of the currency. Those are the three things together that collapsed the Roman Empire. And so I hope I can say those three things and everyone already sees the similarities there.
Yeah, definitely. I watched a video today of Peter Schiff getting laughed at over and over in 2007. I think it was all 2007 in these different news. Like a lot of them were it's called Bulls and Bears.
They were horrible to Peter Schiff on Bloomberg and on Bulls and Bears and C-SPAN. I remember watching Peter Schiff when I was in high school. My junior and senior year in high school, and he went on Bloomberg and on C-SPAN, and he told everybody that the housing bubble was going to collapse and it was going to cause a huge recession in America. And people just laughed at him and called him an idiot and told him
like, why are you being so pessimistic? Like, well, if it's really going to happen, you better accept it now.
Yeah, and then it happened, and nobody apologized to him.
There was this guy named Ben Stein that apparently did.
Well, Ben Stein is also an amazing person. But, I got to say, they just treated Peter Schiff very unfairly. Just like they're treating a lot of other people right now that are like, especially Caleb Jones. Caleb Jones was the greatest advertiser on Free Talk Live of all time. And I got to say, once all this happens and America collapses, they will apologize to Caleb Jones. He will be the first person that everyone says he was right. He had called it. And Caleb Jones is great, is an amazing person. Caleb Jones is a great man.
Who's that? Sorry. Can you remind the audience who that is? Because I don't know who that is.
Caleb Jones is the man that created the Alpha Male 2.0 philosophy, the refined Alpha Male. That was Caleb Jones. He was the one that actually did that. And he advertised on Free Talk Live for a long time.
I remember hearing his ads.
I'm sorry?
I do remember hearing his ads back in the day. At one point on the show.
Caleb Jones. I love Caleb Jones. He's just an amazing person. And he is basically the Nostradamus of the new era. He's basically the new Peter Schiff, the refined Peter Schiff almost. And people are going to apologize to him too once America collapses, because he's been saying the same stuff that I've been saying for a really long time. And I just really think Caleb Jones is an amazing person. And,
why are people going to apologize to him? How is he like Peter Schiff? Is he actually predicting something?
Caleb Jones is predicting the collapse of predicting the collapse of Western society, just like I am.
Okay.
And he's been doing it a really long time, publicly, probably even longer than I have. I don't know that for sure, but he probably has been. And he was an advertiser on Free Talk Live. I believe he purchased advertising even directly from Mark Edge, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. I honestly, I just, when Riley's saying he heard it, I wasn't a listener back then, apparently. So, okay, well, anything else to say about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, Turd, or anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, Taste is a great song. It was Sabrina Carpenter's teenage dream. I can't wait till Sabrina Carpenter stops it with the plastic surgery and lets her natural beauty and her natural sexiness shine through, because she deserves it.
Okay, thank you. I don't really like that song, to be honest. And I like the whole album. Like, I usually skip Taste, but all right. I wouldn't call it a teenage dream. Definitely not. But thanks for the call, Turd. And if anyone would like to call in and talk to us about whatever, obviously you can clearly talk about whatever. It's 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. Yeah, I didn't ever hear about these two brothers in ancient Rome
What
before.
were their names?
Tiberius and Gaius.
How's that spelled?
Gaius.
Gaius.
Okay, whatever. Gracchus, something like that.
And so they were murdered 11 years apart?
12.
How many
BC.
years apart were the Kennedy brothers assassinated?
Oh, I don't know. And I feel like that'll be too many syllables to type right now, or like letters at once to type right now, and like get me all confused while I'm talking. But yeah, I find it really interesting. It literally says a key turning point toward the collapse of the Roman Republic. And the thing is, my Twitter bio right now, I stole it off of a documentary that some people made, a documentary super nice about Ian's situation, the Crypto 6 situation. They have this little like title card or something that pops up and it says all empires come to an end. And I was like, oh, I like that. That's awesome. And it's just like, I feel like I'm happy that it's ending. It just won't be easy. It will be bad. And the really big problem is replacing it with something else worse.
Yeah, and the thing is, when empires collapse, they always end up going toward tyranny, and that's what we're going to end up in America as we continue down this path, because I think we're going to continue down this path. I don't think it's going to get any better. I think there will be people who want to do better things, but the reality is that there are also people who have no empathy, who don't really care, who would rather say, cheer on my team because I'm the best and we're the best, and you're just bigoted if you don't think like me. And there are people like that who are going to continue instigating the fall of the American empire.
Well, I feel that there is a balance. I haven't figured out where to balance it at between being a type of Fed that's called a chiller. Do you know what that means, you guys?
Is it kind of like a exhaust valve? What do you mean?
It's when somebody is a Fed and they're infiltrating your organization, but they're actually working for the Feds. But their job is to be like, hey man, everybody, let's just not do this activism. Come on, man. Like,
yeah, like
that's
almost like a pressure release valve. Like if things are getting too hot, you're supposed to be like the...
Okay, yes, I thought I didn't know what you meant by that at all, but now I see what you're saying. Yeah, like if things are, if the heat's getting turned up, this guy's meant to turn it down.
I almost feel like that's it's kind of what they did during COVID when you saw the ban apocalypse on like Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, like when they censored a whole lot of people and like talking about COVID and whatnot. Like YouTube changed the rules and shut down a lot of people's channels and wiped a whole bunch of folks. But then there were just a few people that seemed to skate through and like evade the ban, and they left those people up just as like a pressure release valve. Because if you banned everybody, there'd be a revolt, right? You have to have... It's a slow crush. It's like frogs boiling in a pot. Because if you just, ban everybody who's talking about it, well, that's obvious. Even the average normie would know, hey, what? This is weird. But if you still have these shows that people can kind of flock to,
where they get enough of the talking about it, but also nothing to do about it.
Yes.
Like Tim Pool.
Yes, Tim Pool, exactly. And now he skated through that ban, and now he's one of the biggest live shows on YouTube. He's been on the front page, which just happens to be after he met with BB. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, I could talk a little bit about the Israel stuff that I learned, but one thing I did want to talk about is like finding this balance between like people in general need to find this balance. It's not really about me, because there's no way I'm about to go take up arms for Charlie Kirk. Like, as much as I feel like it's sad that he died, he shouldn't have died. I'm not about to go commit political violence in his name. Definitely not.
No, because that would be the complete opposite of what he would want you to do.
I agree, but there are also definitely people online who are like, when is this going to end? They're the ones that started this war. We're actually in a war, and I'm just like, hold on, what the heck are people talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen posts similar to that too, like, oh, the left wants a war, we're going to give it to them.
Yeah, and they're going to do nothing. But, I mean, I hope that they do nothing. I hope that they don't go kill people. That's what I hope. But basically, it's like I hear someone talking more, like, standing up against these weirdos killing people, and it makes me feel like, oh, this is like also a good thing, right? I just don't want it to be violent. So
I feel like
that's
a
where
lot of
the
normal
balance
people
is.
are horrified that people are like dancing up and down and calling for more.
Yeah,
most people aren't. Most regular people, like soccer moms, saw this.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer moms don't see things like this. So to see regular folks seeing other people dance up and down and be like, hey, we need to do this more. All these people,
people are trying to be like edgy and funny, like as hard as they can, being like, oh, now next kill Erica, his wife, so that way
or Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens or insert whatever pundit you want, or Trump, or
I really hope it's not Candace Owens, because she is like openly against Israel. But one person that's doing the opposite of being a chiller, and I'm not saying that he's acting violent either, I'm not saying he's being fed at all, is Jason Osborne. Jason Osborne is the House Majority Leader, and this is from NHJournal.com. It says, Osborne, Charlie Kirk's assassination echoes the lessons of 9/11. And I find it so weird that happened on September 10th. And September 11th was, in my opinion, a big mass ritual to cause everybody to be scared enough to give up their freedom for safety. And he was wearing a shirt that said freedom. It's like they're trying to say
you bleed a sacrifice by bleeding it from the neck.
Yep. Okay, so more Free Talk Live coming up. We'll get into this, what Jason Osborne said about it. 603-283-6160 if you'd like to talk about anything else, or if you have something to say about this, let us know. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. In the US, the manhunt continues to find the killer of the outspoken conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The 31-year-old was shot and killed at a Q&A event at a university in Utah on Wednesday. From Washington, here's FSN's Nick Harper.
The FBI have been releasing plenty of information in the last few hours, including photos of the suspect, highlighting several distinct identifying details, like a black T-shirt with an American flag and Converse shoes. The FBI also offering a $100,000 reward for more information. Charlie Kirk regularly took part in these type of college campus events. He was holding Q&A sessions with students, arguing the case for conservative Christian values on a whole range of topics, everything from abortion to gun control. Well, overnight, the US Vice President J.D. Vance, who knew Charlie, personally accompanied his casket to Phoenix in Arizona, where the funeral is likely to be held perhaps as early as next weekend. President Donald Trump says he does plan to attend.
FSN's Nick Harper reporting from Washington. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer continues to face questions about why he appointed a US ambassador with known links to convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The sacking of Peter Mandelson on Thursday as the UK's envoy to Washington is threatening to overshadow Donald Trump's state visit to Britain next week. The government says Mandelson was removed after new information came to light about his relationship with Epstein after his first conviction. Jim Pickard of the Financial Times says Keir Starmer's initial backing of Mandelson this week and sacking him hours later doesn't make sense.
So I don't think we can accuse Keir Starmer of lying. We can question the logic of the government's rationale for getting rid of him. So what they said was the emails that came to light showed for the first time the depth of the friendship. Well, that's not really true. And they also claimed that it was the fact that Peter Mandelson was sending him messages thinking that he might be innocent, which was the final straw. But if you turn that around, they seem to be saying that so long as Peter Mandelson thought Epstein was guilty, then everything was fine. So it didn't make any sense at all.
The former president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, has been sentenced to 27 years in prison after being found guilty of plotting a military coup. A panel of 5 Supreme Court justices handed down the sentence just hours after they had convicted the former leader. They ruled he was guilty of leading a conspiracy aimed at keeping him in power after he lost the 2022 election to his left-wing rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Bolsonaro has maintained he will run for president in 2026, despite Brazil's top electoral court barring him from running in elections until 2030 for spreading unfounded claims about Brazil's electronic voting system. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That means that you can call 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. And I'd like to thank Big for being an amplifier with us here at Free Talk Live. That means that Big went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks again to Big and everyone else who supports us. And again, that's amps.freetalklive.com if you'd like to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
Riley.
And in the last segment, we were talking, a caller called in and said RIP to Charlie Kirk. And I agree.
And also said that this is the turning point for the collapse of Western civilization, I think.
Yep.
Or at least the collapse of America.
And
was JFK's assassination not the collapse of America?
I think that was just a huge change. That's how I would take it. Because
we
had
that
the
wasn't
80s
the beginning of the end.
Some people thought it was.
Well, people tried to shoot Ronald Reagan at some point. Didn't he get shot?
Yeah,
I think that was when he wasn't a president, though, right?
No, I think he was president.
Yeah, I thought he was running for president. Or was he running for governor in California? Wasn't he governor at one point?
He was governor of California before he became president.
I always heard that he was not president when he got shot. Oh, yeah. It was June 5th, 2004, so he definitely wasn't president.
Okay.
Oh, really? That's Chris. So somebody came back after Ronald Reagan?
Yeah, I don't understand why somebody tried to kill him in 2004. That's so weird.
That is kind of weird.
Oh, wait, that says that's when he died. It didn't answer the question I actually asked. Sorry. It's too hard to do that while texting or talking on the air, so. I guess it was on 3/30/1981, so
he
was he elected in 1980?
I think he was running.
Oh.
No, I think he was president. It might have been, was it before or after his inauguration?
I just don't know. Was he elected in 1980?
Yeah, because I remember Reagan Bush at 1984, right, was the second term.
Oh, okay. So he had 2 terms.
H.W. Bush wasn't H.W. 1988 to 92, and then it was Clinton, and then it was Bush.
Yep. So it definitely he was president during the assassination attempt. My bad. And it was definitely he was president because it was already March. So.
Yeah. Okay.
So but honestly, I don't think like that really lessens this situation because it's just like that he didn't get killed. Presidents getting shot at is basically run of the mill. Like if you're going to try to assassinate someone, make a big deal. Like presidents are the least shocking
Yeah, this
one.
feels like a pointed direct attack at
at like
Charlie
normal
Kirk
people.
just wanted to talk to people.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't know, you can disagree with what he said, or like his beliefs, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. But to shoot a guy who's just talking to people is crazy.
But some people would argue that his beliefs make him a bad person. I would have to say to them that no, it doesn't make him a bad person. His actions make him a bad person.
And his actions were just talking to people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you judge a man based on his actions. And if you just go say, hey, why do you believe what you believe, and you can't answer that, and you know, sure, you're going to clip farm that for gotcha moments to put on YouTube. That's how you generate clicks and
rage bait.
Yeah,
seems to be
yeah,
the way to fuel the fire.
yeah. So, but I
Fuel
mean,
the algorithm.
so
of rage
yeah,
bait.
you clip it, sure, but he didn't spend his whole time just clip farming while talking to people. These are full conversations. You can watch the unedited, you know, his live streams of him just sitting there for hours taking questions from people, and you can hear him how he just talks to people. He just wanted to talk, and
yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that the art of a conversation is learning how to talk. In this day of TikTok and short form media, we forget to talk to each other. We just want sound bites. We can't have an actual conversation.
Yep. And it's just like, if somebody would kill Charlie Kirk for doing that, like, there's plenty of people that we actually know in real life and love that they would also, at least the average person would be like, whatever, we don't care if they got assassinated.
yeah, but this person, the people that are deranged enough to do things like this know who those people are, because they're so involved in hating the other side. They you know what I mean, just even talking on this show, people know who you are, you know, and you have trolls on the internet and people that, you know, say horrible things to you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Definitely
just
not
on
as
the
many as
internet,
Charlie
though.
Kirk.
Not as many as Charlie Kirk, but the you know, if you're deranged enough to go after him in front of 3,000 people, you know, are you not saying that it's dangerous to speak your mind?
That's exactly I think what's the most important thing is that people are trying to make people believe that it's dangerous for them to speak their mind. In fact, there was this tweet that was so telling to me, if this person's telling the truth, you know, like, it's like, oh, I'm just repeating the tweet, it could be fake. But this girl said that somebody at her workplace or school, I don't remember, that was like celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. She said, well, if you believe he should die for his beliefs, do you think I should die for my beliefs? And she said, well, you're different. You don't go around talking about it. So literally that's where the line is for them. They're like, they don't want people to go out there and spread their own beliefs if they go against what they want people to believe. So it's literally, they think people should die for free speech.
And that's the problem, is when you think that you should die because you're spouting opinions, then that shows your lack of empathy, and that shows who you are as a human being.
Yeah, well, and if you look if you get down to the base, Charlie was like, really, if you really get to the root of his like beliefs, is he was kind of like a moderate, toe the line. He, for the most part, he supported Israel for a long time. He, you know, I think Charlie Kirk was a moderate. I think a lot of people compare him. He's nothing like Nick Fuentes, you know. He wasn't friends with Nick Fuentes. I think Charlie Kirk was a moderate, and to say he was a far right extremist would be crazy. He just wanted to talk to people, and he was, you know, and he used Christ as his moral standpoint, so he would argue from that point about how he believed what he believed, and he just wanted people to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and to be able to articulate their own belief system, and there should be nothing wrong with that.
He literally platformed people that disagreed with him
all the time. All the time.
If you wanted to go up and say the complete opposite of what he believed, he allowed it by allowing anyone to come up to his little microphone at his events and talk to him. And I didn't see him like cutting people off and not letting people talk,
unless they got like violent or angry, started yelling or just insulting, you know, because there's a line where it's like, well, now we're not debating, you're just saying I have you know, I'm a fool or a,
and he did that Jubilee show, which is basically exactly that. Like, it's just you and everybody else in the room disagrees with you, and you have these long conversations with them. Well, I wouldn't say long, like a couple minute long conversations.
And just because he built a platform doing that and had a lot of followers doesn't make, you know, you can make your own decisions. Just be able to defend your position and articulate it without just like falling into a pit of rage and screaming into a microphone.
This is why I love doing Free Talk Live and doing talk radio, is because we have an open phone line show. You can call in at 603-283-6160 and have an actual conversation with us. And I think that's the important thing, is we're willing to have a conversation. I think that's the important mission of this show, is so we can have a conversation with you, because we believe in freedom of speech.
Yep, I that's why I think Free Talk Live is important. That's like, I don't think I'd be doing it if it wasn't an open phone show. Like, I'm not, anyone could start, like a podcast. That's not what I'm interested in as much as it being like an open phone show. Yeah, so I really like the idea that anybody can call in and talk about whatever they want. I mean, of course, we do have the troll types. Maybe I won't say troll, but at least like chronic caller types who like can't actually make their points and do result to yelling. But we try, especially if it's like a new caller, we let those people talk for a long time and we are like seated listening, like, because it's a new caller. Yeah. But there is news about this Charlie Kirk stuff, and this from nhjournal.com, because it's the New Hampshire House Majority Leader, Jason Osborne's opinion piece. Osborne, Charlie Kirk's assassination echoes the lessons of 9/11. On this solemn day of September 11, 2001, a day when radical evil struck at the very heart of America, claiming thousands of innocent lives, we are reminded of a chilling truth. Oh, okay, it says on the solemn anniversary. I was like, why did he say it like that? My bad. It was the anniversary of September 11, 2001. The same malevolence that brought down the Twin Towers and scarred the Pentagon has not faded into memory or vanished from the pages of history. Evil does not retire. It evolves, it adapts, and resurfaces in new forms, always seeking to destroy what is good and just. And that actually makes a little more sense than before, because I saw that he brings up radical Islam in this, and I was just like, what does radical Islam have to do with the Charlie Kirk thing? But now I get it, because it's a whole longer opinion piece. But we have a caller on the line, and that's what Free Talk Live is all about. So I'm going to go to the phones. Sarah in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live. What did you want to talk about?
Yes, I want to talk about New Mexico. We have same-day registration and same-day voting, and that's kind of like pretty much a new thing. And did Oregon have that? Who else?
Yeah, Oregon did a bunch of crazy stuff. Oregon switched to mail-in ballots like years ago. So Oregon's kind of had the fix has been in Oregon for a long time.
Well, Sarah thinks it's a good thing.
There was one that you could just walk up and register, and so I've been running around UNM trying to explain that they could do that. And our state, you're good if you're a student enrolled anywhere from another state. You're good to go. You could come and vote with us.
So does that mean they can go back and cast their vote in their home state if they have a mail-in ballot system? I mean, like if I lived in Oregon, I could just show up in New Mexico, vote in your elections, and then fly back to Oregon, fill out my mail-in ballot, and effectively vote twice. So how does anybody keep track of that?
You know what? That I have no. It just goes by your honor system.
So why would anybody be honorable? What stops me from doing that? It goes
by the honor system?
The honor system.
Voting in New Mexico goes by the honor system?
Well, I kind of think so, because I think you could use an expired prison photo.
Oh, wow.
And then like a bank statement or a gas bill, and be like, okay, good enough, register. We'll register you, and you can cast a vote. That's the way it's went. I think the last... They were doing they had a data bank. They would tell them my social security number is so-and-so, and then this, and they would go in and go check them, and it's like, oh, you're a real citizen, now you can vote. What happened was that it crashed. The whole thing crashed. They're like, okay, you got a face on it, and then your name on it, and your address on a gas bill. You're good to go. Just go vote. that's what happened with the presidential. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm fine. I want people inside the jail to vote. You know what I mean? But if they have some kind of merit.
Yeah, but why would you want college kids that don't have any investment in New Mexico who are just there for 4 years to make decisions on you? What if they voted against you? Would you still be going to the campuses to get them on board to vote against public transportation.
Oh, yeah. The thing is that they passed this. They passed this 1962 or something. They had it so that a student going to college anywhere in New Mexico, they could just vote with their state if they choose to, or they could come and vote with us if they want to where they live. So it's like I don't know. It's like a special. They're privileged. They're valuable. Being a college student, I don't know how you say that, but I guess they bring revenue to our state, so they are very welcome. This was already done in the 1960s, so that I don't like. But they always run off. They don't want to talk to me. They always run off before I get to give them, the story. Other than the fact that, hey, the union stuff, the student union building with a cafeteria, it's going to be open to vote. Middle of October 18th. That's going to be open, and they perk up. They're like, really,
Sarah? If you found out that the majority of students on college campuses vowed to vote Republican this next coming election, would you still go to the college campuses and do your activism where you get them signed up to vote?
Well, see, not a new UNIM. You know what was that guy? That guy that got shot when he came, he spoke at the UNIM, and then they were duking it out with the Union police. They had films of them. They came out and protest. I mean, with wearing masks and stuff like that. I mean, they were ready for confrontation.
Well, Sarah, so, you failed the breakfast test because I asked, what if tomorrow everybody at UNM decided that they were going to vote Republican? Maybe they got, they got radicalized from this Charlie Kirk thing. Would you still want them to vote? Would you go help them sign up to vote?
If and if, well, you know what? That's a hypothetical. That is never going to happen at Union.
I don't know.
That is not ever going to ever happen. So then everybody asks me, they're waiting after my spiel. It's like, oh, you can go out there. They have one place open. Like, okay, they're waiting for me to cram a candidate down their throat. It's like, no, I want everybody to vote. I want to be fair to everybody because everybody I'm talking to is a progressive left-wing environmental Democrat. That's all. They don't know that I know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but you don't know. But I mean, I went to college in California, and people didn't know what I believed. I would just smile and say thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to get right on that. I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't want to have an argument in the middle. I'm trying to get to class. I'm not gonna sit here and have an argument in the middle of in campus. That's not worth it to me. That's why I didn't go to like those kinds of like Charlie Kirk events. I wasn't interested in. I had to get to class. I had to get to practice. I didn't have time to sit there and argue with people in the quad of campus about environmental justice. It just wasn't. I needed to get to class to get a degree so I could get out of there and get a job.
Wait a minute. So were you approached by somebody like me to get the vote out people? They let them wander around at UNM. And when it comes they actually work for a campaign.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been approached by people a bunch of times. I mean, I went to a Division I university. I had to walk around campus all the time. They were everywhere. Every day they were everywhere. They always had a little table set up in the union, outside the union. They had flyers and posters and banners and pamphlets and it was nonstop.
I don't know if they let me do all that setup, but see, I'm running around. It's like, I'm not going to talk about a candidate, and then I'm like, hey, bye, and then most of the students, they see me coming and they start running away from me because like what you're saying, they cram a candidate down their throat, like what you were preached, what you were telling me, you know what I mean? Because every time they tell you, did you know there's an election and then the poll is open here? And the UNM stuff is going to be open on the 18th. You guys could vote right here, and I get to just show your student ID, expired Costco license, and a utility bill and a bank statement or a student transcript, and you'll get to go register to vote. And right there, and then if you're a student, you could be here for a month, and they're like, well, and then like, okay, here she comes with somebody down my throat,
Well, we understand that you're not like pushing a candidate specifically down their throat or anything like that, but you did basically answer a question that you're assuming everybody at this college is going to vote progressive with you, so that's why you spend your time doing that. That's why I think it would be honestly a fantastic bill for the NH House, and they've already talked about doing it, so I hope that they do, for them to pass a bill that says out-of-state college students can't vote here. That makes total sense to me. Why the heck would, like, what if I was doing a job that was like a 6-month job? Would I get to vote here?
Yeah, well, you're just farming votes. I mean, you did have a 6-month job here, didn't you? You knocked on doors.
Yeah, but I was already not planning to vote at all, so I don't know if I could have voted. I think I would have had to get like an absentee ballot from Texas.
You wouldn't have been able to vote, and so that answers your question. You shouldn't be able to vote if you're not.
Yeah. If I wasn't able to vote, then I don't remember.
If you're still paying taxes in the state you live in, then that's where you pay. That's where you vote. That's where you vote where you pay taxes.
If you're not willing to invest in the future of a particular region, then maybe you shouldn't be allowed to vote in that region.
Yeah, as long as we're under this, spell or this situation, as long as we're in this situation where people get to vote on how other people live their lives, I don't want people to have less reason to care about the place that they're currently in.
It's like the Florida snowbirds, right? They have all the Florida plates on their car. Everybody sees them in New England from New Jersey all the way to Maine. They're here for half the year when the weather is nice, and then when the snow comes, they go back down. And they're registered in Florida, and they vote out of Florida. Just because they own property here, and that's just they snowbird. So many people do that, but that's where they vote is out of Florida. They don't vote out of
New Hampshire
or Massachusetts.
Well, yeah, I agree, and I hope that New Hampshire does pass that, because everybody always asks us every year, especially like on Twitter, why is New Hampshire still a blue state? And it's like, well, if you look at it, the federal elections are usually blue, but they're getting the margin that the Democrat side usually wins by is getting smaller and smaller every year. This year, I can't remember exactly what it was, so I don't even want to guess and be wrong. But it was, like the percentage points that Kamala won by were way smaller than the percentage points Biden won by, and going on into infinity, whatever. Maybe not infinity, but because I know it used to be a red state altogether. But if you look at the local elections, it's just like mainly blue. And when you look at who voted for president, you see that the only like little bubbles that end up having us vote blue are like Keene and Nashua and Manchester, the college places, and the bigger like city type places in New England and New Hampshire.
Well, that's just because those places attract those folks, retired professors everywhere. Yeah,
and also just all the people who aren't actually in college yet, they're attracted here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you get raised in a college town, you grow up believing a certain way, even if you don't, actively go to that college or whatever. Like all your influences are kind of in framework for the most part. Like your teachers are believe that way, like in your high school, because they associate with other teachers and
they all get these jobs that are like, well, I went to school for pop culture, so the only job I could get was becoming another professor of pop culture, and then they just like
or being an art teacher,
perpetuate each other's jobs into the future.
Well, that's just kind of what they did with middle management and corporatism, right? You just stretched out the company so far. You made so many menial micromanagement positions just to, perpetuate your own job. Oh, my son needs a position, but he's an idiot.
We'll just make this.
This position, right, but then eventually the idiot son retires, and that nothing position is still there, and somebody gets promoted, and suddenly it's like, well, why do we have this? Well, we'll make him do X, Y, and Z. Put in a bunch of, like he needs a job. Why don't we make him the woke officer?
Or vibes coordinator.
The vibes coordinator.
I wonder if the vibes coordinators are firing people for saying Charlie Kirk should have died or whatever. And
well, I think there's a difference between saying good riddance to somebody and saying, hey, we should hurt somebody else next.
Yeah, that is
so.
A really
I think
big
so.
point.
If you're saying we need to go out there and hurt somebody else next, well, that's calling for violence is obviously a breaking of the non-aggression principle, right? Saying you have to go out and hunt these people down and do more of this is insane. But to say that you didn't like him and you're not sad about it, that's a different. You shouldn't get fired for saying that you aren't sad about it. But to call for more violence is on either side. People who are saying war or like the violence, like we're in a war.
That's a good point. Like, if somebody agrees that people who are even just like celebrating Charlie Kirk dying, getting fired is fair, do they agree that it's fair if a Republican is saying this means war on the internet because there are people saying that, and that's a little crazy?
Yeah, I think that's crazy as well. Like, I think asking for violence. Now, if you're saying that you need to redouble your efforts and maybe get together and organize and talk to people and get your thoughts in order, and in a TPUSA style, that's different. But to call for we need to go out there and attack these people
because we can't coexist with these kinds of people who want us dead.
Well, I agree with that. That's why I move away from them.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean,
no, but you got to go in the lion's den, because eventually the dam will break and people will change. The normies will change their mind after only so many people can get shot until normal people start.
You really think that like the average person in like, let's just say, like,
if Charlie
San Diego,
Kirk didn't, somebody else will. Somebody they like will eventually get hurt, and then
that will just make them double down on their already horrible beliefs. If we're talking,
no,
like,
I'm not
horrible.
saying you need to go out and do this. I'm saying you need to go out and keep talking to people and keeping the conversation going. And people
really
are going to
believe-
keep trying to.
I think that something has happened, and people cannot be talked out of horrible beliefs. At least the average person, and that's the thing. It's like been this whole thing since I moved here. It's like, do we want to focus on changing people's minds, or do we want to focus on attracting people who basically already believe in this kind of thing, and making them all move to one place? Because honestly, I think 330 million people, I don't think that like the majority of their minds are changing, but we can talk about it. More Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160. Don't go anywhere. It's Free Talk Live.
When every single dollar matters, think technology. I'm Holland Cook with Inflation Hacks. Ink cartridges for your printer are so expensive that office supply stores lock them up. Those Cartridge World refills work just fine. And even the office superstores will give you store credit for recycling used toner cartridges. About the extended warranty when you make a major purchase, every tech expert I've talked to says it's usually useless, pure profit, and the salesperson might be getting a bonus if you go for it. And why spend for software when you can use free online Microsoft Office, programs like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint? And there are lots of free apps and Google Docs, too. How are you coping? Post your inflation hacks at andyoucanquoteme.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman. The suspect in the assassination of conservative American political activist Charlie Kirk has been caught after a 2-day manhunt. He has been identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. He's accused of killing Kirk while the Republican activist was hosting an event on a Utah University campus on Wednesday. FSN's Simon Marks reports.
The president appeared in the studio of Fox News in New York to announce a breakthrough in the search for the killer of his friend Charlie Kirk.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody.
He indicated that a priest worked with the suspect's father to secure his surrender.
A father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
There had been growing pressure on the FBI to find the college-age gunman who was seen fleeing from a rooftop overlooking Charlie Kirk's event. The president says he thinks they now have their man.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he's sending National Guard troops to Memphis, Tennessee to deal with crime concerns, adding that he'd call in active duty military too, if needed. The Memphis Police Department says overall crime is at a 25-year low in the city. Tennessee is a Republican state, but Memphis has a Democratic mayor who said on local Channel 3 that having troops with semi-automatic weapons patrolling the streets is anti-democratic. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Appearing on the Fox News channel on Friday, President Trump said Memphis is deeply troubled and added, "We're going to fix that just like we did Washington." This year, Mr. Trump has already sent National Guard troops into Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., some of the nation's most democratic cities, claiming he did so to deal with protests in the case of L.A. and high crime rates in Washington, despite data showing a significant reduction in recent years. Mr. Trump says the mayor of Memphis and governor of Tennessee are happy with the pending deployment. In recent weeks, a federal judge in California ruled that the way Mr. Trump sent troops into LA was illegal.
U.S. consumers are growing increasingly worried about the economy, with consumer confidence slipping to a 4-month low in September. The University of Michigan survey found that economic concerns were particularly strong among lower and middle-income respondents, with households citing inflation pressures, the labor market, and business conditions as reasons for their anxiety. According to the data, consumers expect prices to rise nearly 5% over the next year and to continue to climb in the years to come. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, a warning that civil war in the United States is possible unless the country finds a way of tolerating political disagreements. It comes in the wake of Wednesday's assassination of Charlie Kirk, an icon of Donald Trump's Make America Great Again movement, and the warning is being voiced by Pastor Mark Burns, the president's personal spiritual advisor. He knew Charlie Kirk well.
It breaks my heart to see some of the evil comments that people are making. No one, regardless if you agree with them or disagree with them, should be assassinated. And now his death has been echoed throughout the whole entire world. Unfortunately for the left, all they've done is waking up a sleeping giant amongst the conservative movement. And we want peace and stability. My prayer is that cooler heads will prevail. It is not beyond imagination to believe that we in America can have another civil war that can break out because ideologies are so different.
The State Department is authorizing American consulates worldwide to revoke visas issued to any foreign national who has taken to social media to praise, rationalize, or make light of Mr. Kirk's assassination. President Trump says he is posthumously awarding Mr. Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
And a recap of today's headlines. The suspect in the assassination of conservative American political activist Charlie Kirk has been caught, turned in part by his own father. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's sending National Guard troops to Memphis, Tennessee to deal with crime concerns. And U.S. consumer confidence slipped to a 4-month low in September as inflation fears mount. That's Feature Story News. Tony Waterman reporting.
With job numbers near historic lows, Forbes magazine has released a list of tips for finding a job, all of which involve witnessing an employer murder someone. Forbes says despite the grim economy, employers are still hungry for talented workers who know how important it is to forget about whatever they think they saw or heard.
So me and a couple of friends were out smoking at the Viaduct the other day, and we saw this really rich guy in a Mercedes pull up in his car and drop nothing. Now I'm the Vice President of International Development.
According to Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein, we had a great quarter and hired hundreds of new employees. I haven't done anything wrong, and all my employees will tell you the same thing because that's the deal we had. But the article warns that stumbling onto a coke-fueled CEO strangling a prostitute isn't a foolproof method for finding work because employers are just as likely to murder you as they are to hire you.
This is the Onion News Network.
You can help spread the ideas of liberty with our Patreon for just $5 per month at amps.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160 to bring up whatever is on your mind. Are you tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites? Our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. That's social.freetalklive.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Riley.
And we already have a caller on the line, so we should get to the calls. We were talking about political violence and calling for it, or even just commenting on it should you lose your job for that. And 603-283-6160 is the phone number if you want to get on the conversation with us, like Skeeter here is. Skeeter in California, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind? Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, Skeeter. Go ahead. Go ahead, Skeeter. I hit the wrong button.
You know why the message of liberty has failed? It's because there's no logic behind it. People don't believe taxation is theft, and your system doesn't work in a real market. And people don't really want freedom. They want prosperity. Even you guys, since you guys choose to remain here, and you guys show by your by your actions, right? Didn't you say you judge people by their actions? You're sacrificing freedom for security.
There's nowhere to go.
Seasteading is an option.
You're acting like there's somewhere to go.
Seasteading.
Really?
I don't know of any. Honestly, I genuinely don't know of anybody
had that work out for them
that's doing that right now, and it's working out, and it's fine.
Didn't John McAfee do that?
Though, right?
Honestly, I don't know.
So, do you?
I thought he lived on. I thought the whole John McAfee thing was he lived on a boat on the ocean in international waters for like years because he was a billionaire.
Is that where he got arrested at?
No, I think he had to like make port for something to like restock on stuff, and they went on his boat and arrested him in like Spain.
Oh, that's...
Either way, Skeeter, the idea that everyone has to agree with us for the idea to work is silly. That's not what anybody is trying to do. A lot of us have given up on trying to convince people what's best for them, and instead just let them do what they are going to do. Californians can live in California and keep regulating themselves out of being able to do anything with their own property, and people who don't feel that way can come to New Hampshire and change what it's like here. And besides, it's like you're saying, oh, you're staying here. We're staying in a place and purposely changing it. That's not the same thing.
No, well, I don't mind you guys trying to work within the system to change the rules.
I don't think it matters if you mind it.
But the Free State Project, if I'm not mistaken, is a secessionist movement. It's not simply a movement where you guys try to, migrate to New Hampshire and change the rules within the system. You're trying to take it by force. You're trying to unilaterally secede.
That's ridiculous. No one is trying to take anything by force from someone else that belongs to someone else. No one is trying to do that. People are working within the system
to convince people that our ideas are superior, which they actually are.
And if CACR 32 went through, then there would have been a vote. So that's their own system. All right, thanks for the call, Skeeter. It's just ridiculous nonsense as usual. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160.
Well, it just comes back to this isn't about the liberty movement. This isn't about the Republican movement. This is about talking to people.
What, Free Talk Live or
all of it, just period. It's about, you know what I mean? Because this is, I don't know if Skeeter was referencing, whatever happened. You know what I mean? As this is a failure of the liberty movement, or if he was just trying to dunk on libertarians. But it's about open and free conversations. It's about being able to talk to people like Skeeter and,
I'd like to talk to fewer people like Skeeter.
Well, but I mean, Skeeter shouldn't be injured for saying what he says.
Sure.
Just because he can't get out of his mom's basement on his own doesn't mean that he should.
Maybe he's actually one of those people that can't get out of bed and needs like a crane to lift him out.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
That
He
could
doesn't seem like
genuinely
that
be
type
the
of
Like he's
problem.
actually stuck in the basement.
Yeah, like stuck in the basement, and he's just sitting down there like, "You stupid libertarians, but you don't understand." Blah blah blah. Yep, just theorizing more and more. He's always saying he's calling from his mom's basement.
So he claims to be a philosopher with no real philosophical application to his
Has
life.
he published any books like on Amazon? He seems like an Amazon published
I'm not
author.
sure if he's done that. I don't remember if he said he has, but he has YouTube videos, and he has one that's called his manifesto, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to do some research.
It's incoherent. Riley and I listened to it, so I could try to find it and send it to you. So 603-283-6160 is the phone number. And I did want to get into... Oops, I did a weird thing on my computer. I do want to get into this Jason Osborne thing because I find it interesting what he's ending up somewhat calling for in this thing. And it's different than like what a bunch of the other big names or what their statements are after Charlie Kirk. It's not just saying RIP. So this is from nhjournal.com, and it's an opinion piece by Jason Osborne. He says, Wednesday, the same evil revealed itself again. Again, meaning it revealed itself in September 11, 2001, and then it revealed itself again when it claimed another victim, Charlie Kirk, the fearless conservative activist who was assassinated at Utah Valley University. That this atrocity hit yesterday is no coincidence of dates. It is a sobering reminder that we remain engaged in a multi-generational war of good versus evil, freedom versus tyranny, and life versus death. The ideology that animated the terrorists of 9/11 was rooted in the hatred of liberty, individual rights, and open discourse. It seeks to silence through fear and subjugation. Seeks to silence through fear and subjugate through force. Its intention is never simply destruction, but domination and the replacement of truth with terror. Wednesday's assassination bears those very same marks. And like I think I said in the beginning, he was killed with the word freedom on his shirt. And I just think that's really important. Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA and a tireless advocate for conservative principles, was gunned down from a sniper's perch during a campus event. Authorities confirmed the attack was targeted, and while the shooter remains at large, the motive is unmistakable. Silence the voice, terrorize the crowd. Yeah, because he didn't go and start shooting people in the crowd. He wanted to terrorize them. I think that's pretty obvious.
Terrorize them by taking out their favorite speaker.
His daughter ran to him because
Yeah.
she was scared by the gunshot.
I heard that.
That's pretty.
Well, he
sad.
was on the ground.
And she's only 3, so she can't understand it. Like, according to her mom, she said that later on, her mom was like, "Where's Daddy?" You know.
Yeah.
And they say, and to also crush debate. The same evil that hijacked those planes is the same evil that fired the assassin's bullet. It's the same evil that every day attempts to assassinate characters across this nation with slanders and baseless conspiracy theories, silencing by force what it cannot defeat with reason. Charlie was not just another voice in American politics. He was a living embodiment of our ideals of Western civilization and what it cherishes. He carried the torch of free speech into some of the most hostile arenas in our nation, college campuses. It's kind of funny because, like, that's what Ian said about choosing Keene to live in specifically. He was like, I don't want to go live in a really red area of New Hampshire. I want to be right in the, like, battleground.
And that's actually not a bad idea because, you know, this is where a lot of people on the left hang out. And so why not be among lefties who are the actual battleground, who have a chance? We have a chance to reach them somehow.
Jesus hung out with the prostitutes and the gamblers.
And the sinners, yeah.
And it wasn't because he did those things. It was to talk to them about their ideas. Explain to me why the way you're living is the best. Why is this? How does it benefit you? How is it a healthy lifestyle for you? He didn't go in there and declare violence. He just, you know, I'm not trying to draw any parallels, but because I mean, Charlie Kirk was a man. He wasn't that. Let's be very clear. He's not a deity or a. I don't want to idolize him. I
think it's important to point out that, you know, even though Jesus hung out with sinners, the story is that he went to go change them to a better point of view rather than saying, you got to live this way and I want to accept your way. Yeah,
I wanted to open a dialogue.
Yeah.
That's, you know, and and there's nothing wrong. That is the core of Western thought, is to be able to have open dialogue and open discussion, and to try to come to some agreement on what the best way to proceed is.
Well, we do have a caller on the line, so let's go to see what they want to talk about. 603-283-6160 is the phone number, and Dave Ridley in Colorado, right, Dave? You're on Free Talk Live.
That is correct.
Cool.
So I have. Are you guys familiar with the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons?
Which one?
Well, there are two big nuclear treaties. One of them is called the NPT, which is Non-Proliferation Treaty, which is old, and the United States has been behind it for a long time, and the Soviets, I think, and Russians have generally been supportive of it. But there's a newer one called the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, and this is a collection of small nations mostly, although there are a few large ones like Indonesia, that have banded together to try to make nuclear weapons illegal. And they have actually, a majority of nations have now signed this. So I think technically nuclear weapons are illegal under international law.
It says
I think
the UN adopted it in 2017. So interesting.
Right. So that's great. And I've been, I keep an eye on them because they're really the only game in town, it seems like, in terms of doing something about these devices. Unfortunately, I have been disappointed over and over when I listen to what they're doing. It all sounds pretty boring, but they have achieved one thing, and that is apparently, I'm saying this correctly, they've achieved like a 32% reduction in the number of companies that build nuclear weapons, or it's either that or something like a reduction in funding of 32%. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sorry, I just don't understand.
No, I get it. There was either, he's just saying he can't remember correctly if it's 32% of companies have quit making weapons, or if it's been a 32% reduction in funding. So he doesn't know if like 36% of like places have closed, or just there's 36% less money going into that trade than before.
Do you know if the United States entered this treaty?
It did not, and that's one of the key objections to it. But yeah, the way I remember it, they were saying a 32% reduction in the number of companies that were doing this. So the important salient point is that they're putting pressure on companies that help build nuclear weapons, and they're having some success.
Sorry.
Do you believe that we should have no nuclear weapon whatsoever?
Well, I think that could be something to work towards. I don't think there's much in the way of bioweapons or chemical weapons that most countries have. There are some illicit ones that are but basically those two have been kind of drummed underground to a large extent and aren't considered that much of a threat compared to nuclear weapons. And partly it's just because nuclear weapons are just, these 9 countries have tens of thousands, 14,000 of them.
Okay.
Well, do you think they're just not going to drum them underground with nuclear weapons? Like, sure, on paper, everybody can agree to not have guns, but bad guys are still going to have guns. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. We have the technology. Yeah. It's over. Like, the weapon exists. And
it's like when you try to trick your friend that you're both going to jump into the pool at the same time, but you don't jump.
Yeah, but it's with a device that can wipe cities off the face of the earth in less than a second. But no, the cat is out of the bag.
If the United States... go ahead, Ridley.
We have to look at what's worked in the past, right? I think you're right that I shouldn't be woolly-headed. I shouldn't be an automatic disarmament guy. I mean, I am a gun guy, right? So in the past, what happened was there was public pressure on politicians in both the United States and even the Soviet Union, and people were all over the streets, even to some extent in East Germany. So what that gradually led to, as well as the scientific discoveries about possible nuclear winter and so forth, what that led to was the people at the top agreeing, okay, we benefit from doing something about this. And they got together and they had an arms control agreement that worked, and it dropped nuclear weapons from about 70,000 to about 14,000. So that was a success, and presumably that would be the pattern that would be repeated again.
So, I mean, is that just like reduction with a wink, wink. Let's go bury these in the desert in Nevada till we need them, boys.
Well, Ridley, one thing I can say about you saying you don't know if you should be completely against them or not is there really a self-defense reason to use a nuclear weapon? Like, if you use a nuclear weapon, you basically have to kill an innocent person. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same thing as a gun.
Right. Even the tests killed people, at least, eventually with cancer and so forth.
Yeah, that's how Harrison Ford died.
Yeah, that's why they're so different from small arms or from grenades or things like that.
Well, I don't know. I'm a little undecided as well, because it's just like, well, as soon as another country has it, then maybe it's somewhat self-defense.
Well, I just think nuclear, as technology develops and warfare adapts and changes, that it's almost like the most free market humans have created is in arms technologies between governments. Like, the new thing is what's going to take over. So as soon as they can find a more effective way to hurt another person, they'll get rid of nukes and they won't care about them anymore. So I think part of it, if you're really that scared of them, part of it is just a waiting game, or showing a more effective way to do whatever these people want to do. Because if not, then they're going to keep using their nukes because they just don't see a better way. Whether they tell you they have them or not. Because, they don't care what the people really want. They'll just hide it from you.
If I had the answers as to exactly how this would work and how we would get there, I'd share them. All I know is that this is what's going on, and I think it's an important issue. Not very many people are talking about it, so I can talk about it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you bringing it up. It's definitely an interesting thought experiment, if nothing else, and I hadn't heard of that treaty, and I feel like it's basically useless if the United States hasn't joined it.
Yeah.
Maybe useless is not the right word, but...
I don't know. I just think...
Well, NHX isn't useless. And the United States hasn't joined it yet.
Hey, Ridley, a caller before you claimed that the NHX people in New Hampshire want to... Oh man, I'm trying to remember exactly how I said it. He said, take New Hampshire by force against other people's will. Do you agree with that?
No, obviously not. So we tried to put it to a referendum that would have required two-thirds of people to say yes.
I agree. That's exactly what I was.
I think it's better to have the people vote in New Hampshire on whether they want to secede than force it on them.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like, they can leave if they don't like it.
Yeah.
I should correct myself. We tried to put it to a referendum. It didn't get all the way to the people.
No.
Yep, it did not. That would have been really interesting, really fun. Anything else for us, Ridley?
That is all.
Thank you so much for the call. You guys can go to ridleyreport.com for more Ridley. And 603-283-6160 is the phone number if you'd like to get in on the conversation with us. That's 603-283-6160. Oh, we already are getting another call, so let's go back to the phones. Tom in New Hampshire? You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
It's about the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Mm-hmm.
Just not too long ago that Donald Trump's maggots were at the U.S. Capitol chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." And Mike Pence's crime, of course, was that he followed the United States Constitution by opening up some certificates and counting the votes, as the Constitution said. And now, see, what the problem here is going on, they get different sides, and they're sticking their claims, and they're getting violent against people. It's like during the slavery, the abolitionist movement. Just because somebody thinks or talks something doesn't make that person the problem. The people, the crazy people down south had a right to their crazy opinions, but holding wrong opinions never entitled anybody to keep slaves. And what we got also going on is an issue of freedom of speech, freedom to be left alone. If you want to go to heaven this way and you believe this is the way to go to heaven is, observe the Sabbath, like the dude was saying, and other things that don't be a homosexual, stuff like that. Don't promote sexual, genital mutilation of children. That he has a right to say this stuff. The cops are the ones that enforce the unjust laws. There are pretty much the sheriff is the only politician that gets elected that is actually engaged in the violence behind it all. If you don't pay for public schools, if you don't pay for public universities, like Utah Valley University, then the cops will come and force you out of your house and sell your house, or they'll come and take you away for unpaid taxes, stuff like that, which is at the very core of the problem. When you've got the government controlling everything, let's take all this stolen money and spend it this way. No, let's spend the stolen money that way. And at government-run indoctrination centers, should a boy be allowed to walk in on girls who are taking a shower after gym class? Oh, no. The government shouldn't allow that. The government shouldn't be spending stolen money on government-run indoctrination centers. Where before, years ago, one of the biggest controversies was whether the schools should teach evolution or creationism. Well, I have a better idea. How about not have public schools, and then you send your kids to the school where if they got a drug problem, they will take care of it or they'll go out of business. And if they teach creationism, then they'll get the creationism parents. And if they teach evolution, they'll get the evolution parents. They've got to properly define the role of government. And that's way not happening with the government manipulating so much of the economy. Everything, every facet of economic activity, the government's got their hand on it, making controls. It used to be, a few decades ago, that people could go to prison for homosexual activity, but now you can get held liable for not hiring homosexuals. And how about leave them alone, but don't make us hire them and don't make them hire us either? That's a libertarian solution to all of this.
I do think that it's important to point out that Charlie Kirk was not a politician, and he wasn't, even if he said he believes this or that thing, he wasn't the person going out and enforcing it, like you were saying, Tom.
He wasn't even, he's speaking as a clergy or a preacher saying that abortion is evil and it's murder, and he's not running for public office. But even if he was, all they're doing is babbling and scribbling. All Kirk was doing was babbling, and all Donald Trump does is he babbles and he scribbles. He makes a speech and he signs an autograph on an executive order. That's all they're doing. It's the cops that are the problem.
I agree. I believe that the cops are the problem. They gave up their human cards when they decided that they're gonna go and force people to stop doing things just on an order, when they said they would, do anything they're ordered to do. 603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Some of you have wanted to support Free Talk Live's mission on a monthly basis, but don't want to support Patreon. Now we have an alternative that also helps our premier streaming platform, Odyssey. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join at the top of the channel. You can subscribe for $5 per month, and unlike other subscription services, Odyssey adds their processing fee on top, so it'll cost a little over $5 per month, but Free Talk Live will receive the entire amount you pledged. Higher donation tiers are available if you're feeling so inspired. You'll get a special membership badge that's visible in the Odyssey chat room, and if we get enough supporters, we may enable members-only chat. This new subscription method is a great way to decentralize our direct listener support away from just Patreon and also support a libertarian-run business, Odyssey. Please visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join to subscribe to our Odyssey channel and help support spreading our message around the planet. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join today.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. In the US, the manhunt continues to find the killer of the outspoken conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The 31-year-old was shot and killed at a Q&A event at a university in Utah on Wednesday. From Washington, here's FSN's Nick Harper.
The FBI... have been releasing plenty of information in the last few hours, including photos of the suspect, highlighting several distinct identifying details, like a black t-shirt with an American flag and Converse shoes. The FBI also offering a $100,000 reward for more information. Charlie Kirk regularly took part in these type of college campus events. He was holding Q&A sessions with students, arguing the case for conservative Christian values on a whole range of topics, everything from abortion to gun control. Well, overnight, the US Vice President J.D. Vance, who knew Charlie, personally accompanied his casket to Phoenix in Arizona, where the funeral is likely to be held perhaps as early as next weekend. President Donald Trump says he does plan to attend.
FSN's Nick Harper reporting from Washington. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer continues to face questions about why he appointed a US ambassador with known links to convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The sacking of Peter Mandelson on Thursday as the UK's envoy to Washington is threatening to overshadow Donald Trump's state visit to Britain next week. The government says Mandelson was removed after new information came to light about his relationship with Epstein after his first conviction. Jim Pickard of the Financial Times says Keir Starmer's initial backing of Mandelson this week and sacking him hours later doesn't make sense.
So I don't think we can accuse Keir Starmer of lying. We can question the logic of the government's rationale for getting rid of him. So what they said was the emails that came to light showed for the first time the depth of the friendship. Well, that's not really true. And they also claimed that it was the fact that Peter Mandelson was sending him messages thinking that he might be innocent, which was the final straw. But if you turn that around, they seem to be saying that so long as Peter Mandelson thought Epstein was guilty, then everything was fine. So it didn't make any sense at all.
The former president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, has been sentenced to 27 years in prison after being found guilty of plotting a military coup. A panel of 5 Supreme Court justices handed down the sentence just hours after they had convicted the former leader. They ruled he was guilty of leading a conspiracy aimed at keeping him in power after he lost the 2022 election to his left-wing rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Bolsonaro has maintained he will run for president in 2026, despite Brazil's top electoral court barring him from running in elections until 2030 for spreading unfounded claims about Brazil's electronic voting system. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That's 603-283-6160. The phone number is 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us. And Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies are available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Riley.
And we have been talking about the Charlie Kirk stuff tonight. I want to get into, I guess this is a lot longer than I thought it would be, but I want to get into basically Jason Osborne, the House Majority Leader in New Hampshire, his main, I guess, sentiment in this I don't think it's a letter to editor. I think it's just a opinion piece he wrote in nhjournal.com. Basically, he said that 9/11 and the day that Charlie Kirk got killed, 9/10, aren't just a coincidence. They're both assaults from the same source, the same type of evil that wants to end freedom and discourse. And that all he wanted to do was give everyone the right to speak freely. And then he says, if history teaches us anything, it is that evil never has the final word. On 9/11, the terrorists believed they could break America's spirit by bringing down towers of steel and glass. Instead, they forged a new resolve in the American heart. Likewise, the assassin who took Charlie's life perhaps believed his bullet could silence a movement. Instead, it has already sparked the beginnings of a new chapter. Conservatives will not torch their neighbors' businesses nor riot in the streets when provoked. Okay, I'm glad he at least said that. They will respond with resolve. Out of this sorrow will rise thousands of new Charlie Kirks. Voices unashamed of truth, undeterred by hatred, unwilling to yield to fear. His murder will not silence, it will multiply. What evil intended for intimidation will become inspiration, fueling a generation determined to fight back with clarity and conviction. Already, voices in the political establishment are calling for America to turn down the temperature. On the surface, such pleas for civility may sound noble, but in the face of barbarism, they ring hollow. The truth is that the temperature must not be lowered but raised, not in violence or destruction, but in moral clarity, in conviction strong enough to expose and consume corruption at its core. We cannot negotiate with evil, we cannot appease it. Whether it comes cloaked in radical Islamism abroad or homegrown extremism that dehumanizes conservatives as enemies to be assassinated, it must be confronted head on. To turn down the temperature now would be to let evil grow in the shadows. The only path forward is exposure, accountability, and courage. And that was like the main part that I saw that I really wanted to read. What do you guys think about all that?
I think he's speaking truthfully here because in his mind, turning up the temperature is calling for conviction in your principles. And I agree with that. I think it's time that we get together as people and establish firm principles that will guide us through times of sorrow and difficulty and strife, because we're falling apart as a people. We're seeing people cheering on this death of Charlie Kirk as though it's a good thing, and yet there are also people coming together to do something different. And so I think it's definitely time to turn up the temperature and do something different rather than turn down the temperature and allow evil to grow.
It's about the pursuit of truth.
Yes.
Right, that's all. And I think and the way we feel the best way to reach truth, at least I personally feel, is that to have everybody to be able to talk about how they feel, or everybody should be able to give their 2 cents about the thing.
Yeah, but I think that the main thing he's trying to say is that people should be courageous and not be like, oh, they killed Charlie Kirk, now I shouldn't stand up and talk, you know?
Yeah.
I definitely think that, like we alluded to at the very beginning of the show, that is like the goal of the violent person, whether it was Israel or some random person in Utah who grew up conservative and just decided to kill Charlie Kirk.
There's supposed to be a message to be like, hey, you could be next. And it's going to have the reverse effect.
Hopefully.
I don't know.
So.
I don't think Republicans usually don't react violently.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be violent either. And if it is, that's probably a false flag too.
Yeah, well, I saw that guy get beat up at a vigil in Idaho. He rode by on a scooter and he was like, F Charlie Kirk, and they ran over and ripped him off his scooter.
I could see those being fighting words.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like at a vigil for somebody's death. If it was anybody else that's not a celebrity, do you think that wouldn't be considered fighting words?
I think so. I think that would be fighting words.
I mean, I've heard about stories about how, people will go and stand on a grave of a, quote, dead op for clout on the internet, and then their homies get them back.
Well,
if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know.
So you don't speak ill of. Well, you don't speak ill of the dead. I think, and that just crosses, especially at like a memorial or such. You have to let the grieving grieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that I could see somebody like trying to take that to court. Like, they beat me up, and it's like, well, didn't you post a picture of yourself on their friend's grave? Yeah, I could see that.
Well, they get back in the worst of ways. They don't. You don't just get beat up.
Well, I'm just saying, like, say you tried to take it to court, like you were still alive from it,
Yeah.
And it's not just like that courts determine morality. I'm just saying, I don't know. There is the whole fighting words concept, and I'm pretty sure a picture could be considered, words in that situation. So I don't know. I don't think that not libertarians.
Well, they put it in rap songs. That's what a whole rap beef starts. They put it in a song, and then hey, I did such and such crime. I did this to that guy. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing. And then the other group's like, he just said that about us. Oh, we gotta handle it outside of a rap song.
Well, I mean, retarded people are gonna be retarded. I don't even know what to say about that.
True.
Like, not my crowd. Definitely not. I do think that, honestly, like, I don't think there's going to be, like, a bunch of Republicans going out shooting everyone with blue hair. I just don't think
Yeah, they're not going to
happen.
hunt blue hairs. It's not going to be, like, open blue-haired season.
If something like that started to happen, I would immediately be like, Israel, America, just like I'm saying with Charlie Kirk. I wouldn't say that is just, like, an actually natural, organic thing happening. Like, no one in my life that I've ever met would actually go do something like that. You know what I mean?
I heard some really interesting things about Charlie's relationship with Israel on Tim Dillon's show today. I listened to it before I came on here. And I don't remember all the specifics, so I'm not going to repeat them here. But it really kind of boiled down to that Charlie may have been offered a whole lot of money by BB to like help fund Turning Point if he would just, toe the party line on supporting Israel, and he said no.
Well,
interesting.
And he was very worried about that because a lot of his big donors are Zionist billionaires. But recently he started questioning, like what they're effectively doing is a genocide in Gaza. How do you take 2.5 million people that live somewhere and then just
kill them,
or erase their existence, or move them?
Mm-hmm.
We don't care if they die or if they're gone. Well, that's the same thing. That's exactly the
killing
same
tens
thing.
of thousands of them.
Well, that's exactly the same thing the Nazis said about Jewish people in Germany in the 40s. Is we don't care if they're dead or if they move, but they can't be here because we want this.
I saw a clip of him on some news channel. I'm not sure which one now. Where he was saying, of course I believe in the Holy Land being holy. Of course and you're just like rolling your eyes. And then he says, but I am starting to be convicted about, like, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not sure if this is exactly how he said it. Like, I'm starting to be convicted about the whole war situation because it's like, it's not self-defense at some point. Says something like that.
Well, they're removing Christians too. It's not just the Palestinians aren't just a Muslim people. They're not all Muslims. Hamas is a Muslim group, sure, of mostly Muslims, but it's not just Muslims that are displaced. There's a whole bunch of Christians that have lived in that part of the world for, just as long as, longer than the Muslims have, right? That's Ethiopia is where the first like real Christian churches started.
Yeah,
and took hold. That area's, it's not just it's a genocide of a whole culture identity.
Yeah, and this is the problem with the Israel-Palestine war is we're told by the talking heads or whoever that there's only two sides. It's Israel and Hamas is the bad guy, and they're Islam, and Islam is the bad guy. So it's only Jews and Muslims fighting each other. But no, there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about because we're not told. And then it makes the whole conflict more complicated. And that is concerning because if we knew all the facts, would we support the sides we support? And the answer is probably no.
I also saw that he had just followed this girl on Twitter that I've seen every once in a while, named Syrian Girl. And she is really big on getting stuff that she sees as like the truth about Israel out. I don't even think I follow her or anything, but she tweeted yesterday or today that Charlie Kirk had recently followed her, and she found that interesting. It's like people were like, it doesn't mean anything. He followed 185,000 people. Like, you're not special. But it's like, okay, but it's pretty freaking purposeful to follow someone like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where like, oh,
and your algorithm is built to show you people who you recently follow, anyways.
Wait, what do you mean?
Your algorithm is built to show like your most recent followers, like people you follow, is going to be the stuff that pops up. Like especially if you're following 3,000 people, I'm not going to be seeing people like let's say I've had it since 2013 and I follow 5,000 pages, and a bunch of them are like old pickup truck pages because that's what I liked in high school. And now I follow stuff about like Magic the Gathering cards, and I follow Magic the Gathering card pages, it's going to show me mostly that in like my For You page and my algorithms.
Interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. That actually makes a little bit of sense because there's like certain people I'm like, why do I never see Carla Garrick's tweets and people like that? But it's like,
and you're following them, right?
But I followed them like really early on when I first started.
Yeah, but
tweeting.
you're still following them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's exactly. It eventually suppresses your older.
It also depends on how you have your X page set up. Like if you're viewing the For You page, that's everything and everybody in the feed that you can see from your mutuals and things like that. But if you go to like your following page, then that shows you just who you're following.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I don't have it set up as like who I'm following and like the most recent things they've posted because that would get annoying on Twitter. It used to be The Way on Instagram.
Yeah, that was the way.
And it was the better way.
I'm pretty sure it was the way on Twitter too, was that you just got a flood of the first thing everybody posted.
But
it's not
sucks on
anymore.
Twitter
Now it suppresses like the longer you follow somebody, the less you see their most recent posts at the top of your
But when you go on Twitter and you click following and you're seeing like every single most recent repost anyone you know follows, like that's just like literal internet slop. You know what I mean? I prefer it to pick out things for me, honestly.
Okay.
It gets annoying that way. And
especially
if
if you do get up to like 185,000 followers.
Yeah,
what
that
do you
is
do?
crazy. That's crazy. I follow like less than 2,000 people, and I feel like that's so many. So, anyways, I just feel like it's like people being like saying to her like, oh well, who cares? Like it's pretty freaking purposeful to follow like an anti-Israel account that's like known for that. Like I already knew that that person was known for that. Like the last few months and then die. And also he had told someone, this guy named, I know his last name's Harrison. I forget his first name. I don't want to say it could be something Harrison. Never mind. Anyways, this guy named Harrison, he went on the Liberty Lockdown podcast with Clint Russell, and he said that only like a month ago he tweeted, I just found out from a source that Charlie Kirk has said he is afraid Israel's going to kill him. So I just don't see why that doesn't all point in a direction. But at the same time, I also say I don't think that the United States would put up with Israel just being in America and fly over states killing people if they weren't also like in on it. And the shooter getting away so easily, and like 3 people in the crowd saying, it was me, shoot me. It's obviously like there's more to this than just some random 22-year-old going like, oh, you know what I think I'm going to do today? That sounds like a good idea. I don't care if it's a death penalty state. That's what I'm going to go do.
Plus, he shot one shot, and he had to be a pretty dang good shot just to make that work.
No, I don't believe so.
You don't think so?
No, if a 9-year-old kid can hit a deer in the heart from 350 yards away, when his blood is pounding in his head and his dad's sitting behind him hyping up, going, okay, Timmy, see that huge buck? You gotta, okay, Timmy. And if a kid can settle himself down, a little boy, this is the biggest moment of his life at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he might as well be a quarterback in the Super Bowl. And if he can steel himself to hit that shot.
I've heard both things. I've heard, I got pretty convinced by Ben the Emo Anarchist. He's a hunter, and he's been on the show. He said that it's not a professional shot, and that anyone could do it. And in fact, he said that he thinks it actually dropped and hit the bulletproof vest that Charlie was wearing that is like a known thing. Apparently,
like a 30-06 bullet's going to bounce off a bulletproof vest.
He said that it looked like it bounced. I guess that other people are...
it's such a heavy round. You're talking about... The round that they say was used can kill anything that walks in North America, from a moose to a polar bear to a grizzly bear to... It's not... If he's wearing a vest that's hidden, like a concealable vest, it's not... Those are built for pistol rounds, like a 9mm. A large caliber round like that's not bouncing off a vest.
Mm-hmm. Why are people saying that then? Because I did see the video, but it's not like I sat there and watched it over and over again in slow motion. I was like, oh, sick. That's enough for me.
No, there's no bounce out of that. Even if you're wearing frass, which is like a ceramic, they're designed to catch the bullet. It's not designed to bounce unless you're wearing steel, but you'd see the steel plate underneath his shirt. And it wouldn't bounce off his shoulder like that because the steel doesn't sit on the shoulder. It stops, like near the pectoral.
Yeah, I don't know what kind. I guess it would depend what kind he's wearing.
Yeah, but even if it was a hidden vest, it couldn't stop a round of that size. It wouldn't bounce.
Okay.
It'd go right through it like paper.
I don't know. I've seen people say that it bounced, and other people say it didn't. And honestly, I would have never looked at that video and thought it bounced myself because I thought it just went directly into his neck. The only reason I looked at it this time, because like I've said on the air before, I don't like to go look up violent videos whenever they're going viral, especially when it's like just senseless violence like that. Like it'd be one thing if it was like if Donald Trump fought someone hand-to-hand combat, I think I would go watch that immediately.
Yeah.
So when it's just like, oh, did you know some loser homeless guy killed a woman on a bus? Like I'm never going to go look that up. But this one I looked up because they took like so many hours to announce if he was dead or not. And I kept seeing people say like, there's no way you lived through that. And I just,
nope.
I had recently looked up, and this is the thing, this is how you get desensitized. And I wish I didn't do it to myself. I've recently been getting really into the Gypsy Rose Blanchard story about how she supposedly had a mom that had Munchausen by proxy syndrome and medically abused her, and then she ended up getting a low IQ autistic man to kill her mom for her, saying that that was the only way for her to escape abuse. Well, I don't really believe her story anymore because I've been like watching these content creators that like really pick apart her story, show all the time she's lied, etc. And for the first time ever, I was like, well, now I want to see the murder scene because there's just so many clues everywhere. It's like it makes you feel like you're like a detective. And I also try to stay away a lot from true crime stuff, but the Gypsy Rose thing really got to me back in the day when it first came out. And so anyways, I was like, well, I'm going to look. It's not going to be that bad. I'm going to go look at the crime scene photos. And the only way I could figure out how to do it was to go to watchpeopledie.com.
It wasn't just all over your Twitter?
At the time it was, and I avoided it. But like the time that those first came out, the FOIA like documents or whatever, those first came out.
Oh no, I meant like the Charlie Kirk video. It just wasn't blasted all over your Twitter.
The Charlie Kirk video was not blasted all over my Twitter.
Really?
I've only saw the one from far away, but the one from close up I didn't see on Twitter.
You had to go find on a different platform.
So I just went to watchpeopledie.com and
wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know
watched
there was a site like that.
Yeah,
they got billions of sites. The Pain Olympics, that was a tough one.
I'm never gonna.
Don't even ask. Don't even ask.
I did Google, is this a legal site to visit before I went on it to see the
I don't think you use like
stuff.
normie webs like Google. Google wouldn't let you access it if it was an illegal website to get.
Yeah,
to.
that's a good point. But it's completely legal because these things are like public. Like they come out through FOIA, and so I looked at the D.D. Blanchard ones, and I legitimately had oh no, why did I do that? Oh no, that's like really awful. I didn't know it was that bad. Like a little bit of a like, oh crap, what did I just do? Feeling like, I wish I didn't look at that. But now time has passed, and I'm thinking back, I'm like, it's not even that bad. It sounds weird. Like that's how you get desensitized. And that's why when they weren't announcing if he was dead or not, I just wanted to go look at the video myself. It was like, whatever. It can't be that bad, but it was pretty bad. It was pretty horrible. I wouldn't recommend anybody watch it or go to that site. Maybe I shouldn't even said the site. Whatever. I guess it's anyone's own free. They can go find out how to do things themselves anyway. So either way, yeah. And when I saw it, I was just like, there's no way that people live through that because it's like, my thought goes to like, have you ever seen anyone with a big hole scar on their neck? They're like, oh yeah, this. Well, I lived through it.
The kinetic energy from that kind of impact would have just broke his neck. So he was probably dead when he hit the floor. They just didn't say anything until he got to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because they probably needed a doctor. I don't know what the law is in Utah, but some places there has to be a doctor present for them to declare.
I think in Utah you do have to have a doctor pronounce them dead.
So yeah, they obviously had to wait until they got to the hospital.
And they didn't have like ambulances on deck or anything. What was so weird is they took his body, they like picked him up, a bunch of his security guys, brought him in like a regular SUV. That's so weird.
That is a little strange.
Yeah. I thought that was super weird.
Well, I remember 2016, 2013, they used to get thrown off college campuses all the time. Remember there was a bunch of court cases that had to be had between places like Turning Point and other organizations. Steven Crowder had to a lot of these places had to sue the universities to let them on campus because they were getting thrown off.
What do you mean thrown off?
Like they wouldn't let them set up the benches and
Their
like
security
have
and stuff? Oh, okay.
Like they called the cops and have them removed. The professors would freak out and they had to sue.
Wow.
A lot of colleges. Like, do you not remember? Like, well, remember the Milo riots when Milo tried to speak at UC Berkeley and they attacked him with fire bombs and
Okay, no, I don't remember that.
they had Molotov cocktails and like fireworks and stuff. So I mean. And a lot of places had to sue universities and win. There was a lot of big wins for young Republicans and young right wingers, and during that time was suing to even be able to have these types of talks on campus.
It's so ridiculous that people can't handle somebody coming and talking on their campus. Like, you just don't have to attend the event. Like, if it really triggers you that bad, and that was the age of triggering.
Yeah, it was triggered. It was triggered people.
Triggers,
is what we called them.
We need safe spaces.
But they already tried to. They attacked. That was like the first wave of like hands up, don't shoot riots too.
Yeah.
I think that was before Trump got elected, or it was like right during that election year.
Yeah. The Milo Yiannopoulos stuff, that was all while he was getting elected. I'm pretty sure Milo Yiannopoulos is like it would be the ultimate reason. Like, there were lots of reasons.
He was one of the
I think
biggest.
he was why I voted for Trump, in 2016. So, and the thing is, like, he's so articulate, so good at making his points and stuff. If you disagree with him, you should use him as like a foil, as like a iron sharpening iron. Like, if you disagree with him, you should go to his events and get on the mic.
Not shoot him in the neck.
Yeah. Yep.
Supposedly, allegedly, if the person who did it.
Yeah.
That's if he actually did it. I mean, some kid from some southern Utah town killing somebody seems like a long shot.
He was wearing a DSA shirt. There's a picture of him wearing a Salt Lake City DSA shirt.
Okay.
I just didn't ever see it confirmed that really was him. It looked enough like him, but he's such a like ambiguous white guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't get that confirmed that was him.
I want to see what happens. I want to see more about the roommate, the supposedly
Oh yeah, we have an article about his
girlfriend,
roommate,
boyfriend, whatever.
That, was his like roommate and partner that was a trans person, like in the middle of transitioning.
No, there's so much we could get into.
So like honestly, it's like people are trying to say he was also a conservative. Yeah, like a conservative goes and shoots Charlie Kirk. That doesn't make sense.
And it has a transitioning partner.
Yeah.
That's a super conservative.
More Free Talk Live coming up.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. Rising fees have made Bitcoin useless for purchases, but Dash continues to have fees less than 1 cent per transaction, and its features ensure Dash is undefeated as the most useful cryptocurrency in the marketplace. From a technical standpoint, Dash transactions are irreversible, and its network is protected from 51% attacks by their Chainlocks technology. There's no need to wait for a confirmation before considering a Dash transaction complete, so it's great for merchants. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at dash.org. Big thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman. The suspect in the assassination of conservative American political activist Charlie Kirk has been caught after a 2-day manhunt. He has been identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. He's accused of killing Kirk while the Republican activist was hosting an event on a Utah University campus on Wednesday. FSN's Simon Marks reports.
The president appeared in the studio of Fox News in New York to announce a breakthrough in the search for the killer of his friend Charlie Kirk.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody.
He indicated that a priest worked with the suspect's father to secure his surrender.
A father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
There had been growing pressure on the FBI to find the college-age gunman who was seen fleeing from a rooftop overlooking Charlie Kirk's event. The president says he thinks they now have their man.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he's sending National Guard troops to Memphis, Tennessee to deal with crime concerns, adding that he'd call in active duty military too, if needed. The Memphis Police Department says overall crime is at a 25-year low in the city. Tennessee is a Republican state, but Memphis has a Democratic mayor who said on local Channel 3 that having troops with semi-automatic weapons patrolling the streets is anti-democratic. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Appearing on the Fox News channel on Friday, President Trump said Memphis is deeply troubled and added, "We're going to fix that just like we did Washington." This year, Mr. Trump has already sent National Guard troops into Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., some of the nation's most democratic cities, claiming he did so to deal with protests in the case of LA and high crime rates in Washington, despite data showing a significant reduction in recent years. Mr. Trump says the mayor of Memphis and governor of Tennessee are happy with the pending deployment. In recent weeks, a federal judge in California ruled that the way Mr. Trump sent troops into LA was illegal.
U.S. consumers are growing increasingly worried about the economy, with consumer confidence slipping to a 4-month low in September. The University of Michigan survey found that economic concerns were particularly strong among lower and middle-income respondents, with households citing inflation pressures, the labor market, and business conditions as reasons for their anxiety. According to the data, consumers expect prices to rise nearly 5% over the next year and to continue to climb in the years to come. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, a warning that civil war in the United States is possible unless the country finds a way of tolerating political disagreements. It comes in the wake of Wednesday's assassination of Charlie Kirk, an icon of Donald Trump's Make America Great Again movement, and the warning is being voiced by Pastor Mark Burns, the president's personal spiritual advisor. He knew Charlie Kirk well.
It breaks my heart to see some of the evil comments that people are making. No one, regardless if you agree with them or disagree with them, should be assassinated. And now his death has been echoed throughout the whole entire world. Unfortunately for the left, all they've done is waking up a sleeping giant amongst the conservative movement. And we want peace, stability. My prayer is that cooler heads will prevail. It is not beyond imagination to believe that we in America can have another civil war that can break out because ideologies are so different.
The State Department is authorizing American consulates worldwide to revoke visas issued to any foreign national who has taken to social media to praise, rationalize, or make light of Mr. Kirk's assassination. President Trump says he is posthumously awarding Mr. Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
And a recap of today's headlines. The suspect in the assassination of conservative American political activist Charlie Kirk has been caught, turned in part by his own father. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's sending National Guard troops to Memphis, Tennessee to deal with crime concerns. And U.S. consumer confidence slipped to a 4-month low in September as inflation fears mount. That's Feature Story News. Tony Waterman reporting.
All experts agreed this week that the dying U.S. economy is no reason at all to stop investing in print media, calling the newspaper and magazine industry a veritable cash cow with massive potential for growth. Top experts everywhere said that aggressive investment in print media will pay off in spades, and that newsprint is in no way threatened by internet news sites or online video content. Besides, everyone in the know agreed, loyal readers of newspapers would never, ever in a million years turn their back on the trusted print media industry that has always been there for them in good times and bad.
This is the Onion News Network.
It's the Onion Radio News. I'm Doyle Redland. Cardiologists announced today that test subjects who took a single aspirin tablet followed by a fifth of bonded Kentucky bourbon were 85% less likely to realize they were having a heart attack. Potential side effects for the new treatment include slurred speech, impaired vision, and vomiting. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and that means that you can call 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us. Bring up whatever's on your mind. We've been talking about all kinds of things tonight. It would be crazy if we weren't talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination and what it seems to mean to people, and all of the breaking news about it. So we're talking about that tonight, but we also talked about nuclear arms prohibitions and rage bait, self-defense nukes, all kinds of things. So go ahead, Riley.
We also talked about voting because Sarah from New Mexico called in about voting.
Oh,
about student voting, yeah.
Yep.
Which is just a ridiculous concept that you'd have a student vote in your local elections.
Well, like a out-of-state one, right?
Well, yeah. Well, even if it was like an in-state, why do you want a kid who lives out of county to elect your sheriff or your mayor?
I don't know. I don't know if we could go that far to say that the ones that are like from the state shouldn't vote because they then live there if they do.
Well, not. I mean, I guess if they're voting in their state election, but when you get down to like a municipal election, like, are you going to be able to vote in like a place that's so big that you have a neighborhood? Which probably is somewhere like is she in Albuquerque? Like, are there not like ward leaders? Like, can you vote for your ward leader if you're a student?
I don't know. I didn't really think that far ahead of it, but I would love if the New Hampshire people, the New Hampshire House, if they pass a bill that they've been like teasing, like, oh, we're gonna make it to where out of state college students can't vote. I think that'd be a good enough solution in and of itself.
Yeah, well, like in-state student, how hard is it to really get back to your house to vote? Or like if you vote in person, like how hard is it to?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like if you live in New Hampshire, how hard is it to get home to vote?
Yeah, but not everyone actually like legitimately lives somewhere else. They might just live in their college campus dorm or whatever. But well, we do have a caller on the line, so I'm going to go to the phones. Steven in New Hampshire, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I wanted to talk about New Hampshire and thank the Sheriff Free Church for contributing with my new magazine to promote New Hampshire and our culture of freedom here, a magazine called Live Free in New Hampshire.
Yeah, that it seems like a really good concept because I think it's great that you were already doing a food freedom magazine. I really like that. I've tried to share it with as many people, like I have a copy of one. But I think that there is something missing inside New Hampshire currently, especially with like we don't even know if Pork Fest is going to happen next year thing. Like a thing to keep people's morale up inside of New Hampshire, as opposed to just the people wanting to bring people in, which is very noble in and of itself. So tell us a little bit about what you plan for this Live Free magazine. Is that what it's called?
Live Free in New Hampshire.
Awesome.
So yeah, the magazine's going to be colorful, positive, have lots of useful information for the Liberty people in New Hampshire, but also tell the stories of our culture here and just kind of be a good celebration of that culture. And like, as far as bringing more people in, I'm of the mindset of we do need to do more outreach outside the state, and I think this would be a good, useful thing. That's why it's called Live Free in New Hampshire. So if you're not in New Hampshire and you read that title, you're like, oh, shoot, I need to be in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But also, there are thousands of liberty-minded people in New Hampshire, I'm sure, that just aren't a part of our group. Like, they're just doing their own thing. They're independent. They don't know. Like, we run into them all the time. Like, you guys were at that protest last week, the Free the Pickle one.
Yep.
That was a fun one.
And yeah, I'm glad you guys came out to that. I know it was a bit of a drive, but I ran into a person there that was like knew about the Free State Project a little bit, but he was talking to me about how he lives in Manchester and he's trying to open a hot sauce company, and the town of Manchester, city of Manchester, was cracking down on him, saying he needed to do all this permits, get a commercial kitchen, do all this stuff. And so like he was just like somebody that is kind of on the outskirts of like the liberty community, but should totally join us, and we could help him and he can help us. And then, he's there, but we got to find those people. We got to find them.
Well, that's how a lot of people kind of come to the movement, is they don't really know how bad it is until they try to do something, and then the government smacks them in the back of the head with a baseball bat and goes, nope, sorry, buddy, you thought you were going to have your little hot dog stand, but we're going to kick your door in and shoot your dog because no hot dog selling without the proper permits.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, so what I'm hoping to do with this magazine is, distribute it at events to like-minded people and, just let them know, like, hey, this is what's happening here. Like with the Food Freedom Guide that you guys have seen, it's going to list, like, the restaurants and the farms and just that. I think that sort of stuff shows you, like, how established we are here, because we see the political side a lot, but I want to show off that, like, actually most of us aren't really that involved in politics, but we are involved in community action.
I love the idea of taking it to like did you know like AnarCon is happening in Virginia this month, like taking it there and giving people FOMO for not being here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean anybody who's going to those events, so I'm going to keep doing multiple issues of this. So anybody like you guys, if you're going to those sorts of events, I would love to send you with like a stack of these magazines to give out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like the idea of businesses and restaurants and almost like a Michelin star system where you can
for liberty.
Yeah, especially for people who are new or trying to get into the movement. Like, where do I spend money? How do I go? Because libertarians like to be left alone, and it's kind of hard to interject yourself.
A lot of libertarians tend to be introverted, and we don't talk to anybody, and all of a sudden our movement kind of dies because we don't talk to each other.
So yeah, I think getting the word out there that's awesome. That's super cool to do, man. I hope it takes off. I hope you do a really good job.
Do you have a URL for it's not GoFundMe, it was something else.
Yeah, Indiegogo, it's basically like Kickstarter. If you go to nhspotlight.com, that's one of my websites. There's a link on there to it. But yeah, thank you. I just wanted to thank you guys for your support and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. It's
that's
awesome.
super cool, dude. I'll shoot you $5 after the show. I'll make sure I'll get on that.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks so much for the call. Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. I mean, I didn't mean to imply it only should be interesting to people inside New Hampshire, but I think it's kind of both. It's like, if you feel like, oh, I have this business and I could even like put an ad in there and like people will see them doing this thing. It's like kind of like inspiration for people to do that kind of activism. And then it's also FOMO for the people who aren't here yet. Like people at AnarCon.
Or like people who visit. I mean, even if you if you are a supporter of such, and you like, if you come to PorkFest and you travel through New Hampshire, it'd be nice to have something that's like, hey, if you're going to stop along the way and eat, why don't you eat here, or spend your money here, or stop at this store, or buy your t-shirt from this person. And because that's how you build community, like and you support the people who support the things you support, right? And it's just how you keep growing and expanding and prospering.
Yep, I try to keep, like, anytime I hire someone to do something, I try as hard as possible to find, like, a libertarian that does it. I think it's important because it's, like, well, should we be funding like the socialists around us? Like, I don't just go get coffee at Prime Roast and Keene when it's owned by a socialist and her husband is the health inspector, you know?
Yeah, like voting with your dollar is the secret power.
Oh yeah,
look
because when
what
you
they
give
did
your
to
money
Bud
to
Light.
causes that you like and causes that benefit your community is going to thrive more. But if you just go outside your community too much, then your community is not going to thrive as much.
Yeah, and that's one thing that is why I understand why New Hampshire was chosen over Wyoming. It would just be that much harder because it's that much bigger to have community if you're like, well, we came to Colorado, or sorry, not Colorado, it's Wyoming. Oh, well, we came to Wyoming and it's we're going to be on the northwest side. Oh, well, we came to Colorado too for this community, but we're going to be in the southeast side. Well, then you're going to be, really far away.
5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're 5 hours away in New Hampshire.
No, it's really big. Voting with your dollar is huge. Putting your money where your mouth is well, it's like complaining that all the mom and shop pops are gone, but you do all your shopping at Walmart, right?
Or
like
Amazon,
you have to, or Amazon. You have to go out and be the change, right? Like Gandhi said.
Well, I find that really awesome. So once again, you can go to his nhspotlight.com. Is that what he said?
Yes.
I should have written it down right when he said it, but and go give to his Indiegogo. And I know that LPNH posted about it, so if you can't find it, if I said the wrong URL, you can go to LPNH's website and type in like LPNH, magazine onto Twitter, and you'll be able to find it. That's where I saw it. So in the last segment, you guys said you wanted to hear more about, and maybe that's how I interpreted it, that you wanted to hear about how the guy who supposedly shot Charlie Kirk, he had a trans boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yes, I want to hear about this.
So this from Daily Mail, it says Tyler Robinson, that's the alleged sniper, his roommate who tipped off FBI, is identified as family refused to deny transgender motive for Charlie Kirk assassination. That's exactly what I said. I'm not reading it wrong.
Huh.
Is identified as family refused. Oh, I see. He's identified as family refused to deny transgender motive. Okay, whatever. A 22-year-old wannabe professional gamer who lived with Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin gave cops incriminating text messages leading to his arrest. Lance Twiggs turned over Tyler Robinson, who lived with him in a 3-bedroom apartment in St. George, Utah.
That's near my hometown. That's actually pretty much my hometown.
I did not know that Orem was that close to St. George.
No, Orem's about 300 miles from St. George. It's about
okay,
a 4-hour drive, but...
Okay, that's just where he used to go to university, whatever it's called, in Orem.
Yeah.
And then he's now back home with his parents or something in St. George. Okay, thank you, Riley, for the expert.
Yeah, 22 is about when you graduate. If you start at 18, that's 4 years.
Apparently he was a dropout, actually.
Oh, really?
Huh. Yeah, I keep seeing him called a dropout.
Yeah, he could have been a dropout.
But, yeah, okay, that makes sense. UVU is the university.
Yep.
So... yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm so glad we have an expert here on Utah because I was like, I could swear Orem isn't anywhere near St. George.
No,
but
they're definitely miles apart. It's like a 4-hour drive from Orem to St. George. I know because I have sisters that live up in that area.
Oh, okay.
In Utah County.
I heard that it's like kind of like the birthplace of Mormonism. Like that's where a bunch of people first settled. Is that true?
Salt Lake County is where a bunch of people first settled, but Utah County and Provo and Orem and that area is also where a bunch of Mormons settled. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's because I watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I was reading this like thing where somebody like goes and finds like info on their favorite celebrities, and they were talking about one of the ones that just joined Dancing with the Stars, and they were like, "She's from Orem. That is, and her family's always been there. That they're like Mormon royalty." I don't know. I was just like, "Oh, okay." I never really heard that about Orem before, but I don't even know if I've driven through it. I have no idea.
Okay.
Oh man.
So it says the shooter's identity was revealed as separate reports emerged from Fox and the New York Post, which stated that Robinson was living with a transgender partner who is cooperating with the investigation. I mean, that's good at least, if it's all true and above board. It is unclear if Twiggs is the same person referenced in the report, and he has not been named in the affidavit. His grandfather, Jerry Twiggs, such a crazy name, told Daily Mail that he was unable to comment on rumors that he is trans and that he was a transgender, and that there was a transgender motive to Kirk's murder. So that's what they're making, characterizing as refusing to deny. That's a little...
It's no comment.
Yeah. Not exactly refusing to deny. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want to comment on that. I'm not sure what his situation exactly is right now. He said, adding that he had never met Robinson. Jury also confirmed his grandson had been talking with the police, but that he had not spoken to him since. After he was with the police, he's been at his house, and there's no way for us to contact him other than going over there. It's a weird thing to say, like, does he not have a cell phone? But Lance Twiggs, and here's a
maybe
picture of
they're
him.
separated.
Oh, you mean like Lance and the shooter?
No, like the grandpa and
the
no
roommate.
comment on what my grandson's doing because he lost his mind and went off the deep end. So we quit talking.
Like no contact.
So
or
like
whatever.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what it's calling itself. No comment. I don't know.
This picture, he's wearing like a sloth themed hoodie pajama set that almost looks like one of those things that little babies have on their heads after they take a bath.
Yeah,
like a
kinda
towel,
like an e-girl thing.
Okay,
and it's definitely like this e-girl thing, like you're saying. And he's a boy, but he's got very feminized features and is making somewhat of a like effeminate pose with just like his face.
Yeah.
Smizing, as Tyra Banks would say on America's Next Top Model, like kind of posing
Like a
girlishly.
female smolder.
Yes. Not acting very manly. And I wouldn't say that conservative all-American MAGA boys typically would take a picture like this.
Probably not.
No, and they definitely wouldn't live together. And is that the only picture they could find?
That's the only one I've seen. I don't know if it's the only one they can find. And then you have like this like all-American looking boy that apparently lost his mind and shot Charlie Kirk, if you believe that story. He looks so Utah, and then he's like got the Red Rocks of Moab behind him in this picture, wearing a button-up shirt. Literally
there are
looks
also
like...
Red Rocks in St. George, so
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
it could be there.
He totally could be, probably is. It says that authorities are yet to confirm a motive, but Utah Governor Spencer Cox told the Wall Street Journal that Robinson was deeply indoctrinated with leftist ideology. South Utah native Twiggs studied at Utah Tech University. Isn't that what they named Dixie?
Yeah, that used to be... So Utah Tech University used to be Dixie State University. Then it was... Before that, it was Dixie College, so...
You know what I just learned about the word Dixie? That is making it even more ridiculous that the random white people in Utah, southern Utah, decided that the word is racist in and of itself.
Yeah.
A group of jazz people, not like a group as in one band, but a big movement of jazz in New Orleans that was like mostly black people in the I don't know what decade that is, honestly. I can't think, maybe the 20s or the 10s or the 30s.
Okay.
They call themselves like the Dixie Jazz, or maybe I'm thinking blues. Either way. No, I think it was jazz. It's like
interesting.
Black people use the term Dixie too. There's nothing racist about just saying, hey, we're from the South.
There's really nothing racist about it. It's just people overreacting and being too woke.
Yes, way too woke. It's ridiculous levels of woke.
Oh, yeah.
They named what is now Utah Tech University Dixie because they're like, oh, it's the Dixie of Utah. It's the South of Utah.
Yep.
And that's cute. I thought that was so nice. And then they decided like that's racist one day. I really
Are
hate
they
that.
still the Bison, though?
I think so. I think that the Buffalo, the
Utah,
Trailblazers.
so they're Utah Tech now?
Utah Tech University, they're the Trailblazers.
Yep. I had no idea they were even a tech university. Like I always heard it was like a party school.
It used to be
rumored
that it was a party school, but I didn't encounter too many parties while I was there.
Maybe it's just like people will say that because like your other options in Utah aren't very party school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the party school in Utah because BYU will like arrest you.
Yeah.
Kick you out at least, yeah.
Well, security will escort. You know, you're effectively getting booted.
Yeah, if you're found soaking or whatever. Anyways, South Utah native Twiggs studied at Utah Tech University, according to his Facebook page. Robinson, 22, was also taking electrician training at a nearby technical college. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he had dropped out and now he's training to be an electrician and just decides to throw his life away in a state where they have capital punishment. Seems insane. And like Robinson, he was an avid gamer, posting shooting game videos on a TikTok account with the bio, becoming TikTok pros one terrible video at a time. He posted himself on social media playing popular games including Apex Legends, Valorant, and Rocket League. Have you heard of any of those, you guys?
No.
I hadn't heard of them. Are they
all
phone
of those
games?
are.
Or
no,
console games?
Apex Legends is pretty much just like a Fortnite, like a drop out of an airplane,
And
run
then you
around, and then you fight. Rocket League is soccer with race cars. So you kick around a ball, like it's a ball, and you can drive up the wall and like you knock the ball around with your car.
Wow.
The car doesn't like get damaged or anything. But you have like it's soccer with a car.
That's pretty funny.
And then Valorant's just like degenerate anime stuff.
Oh my god. So it says other comical videos he shared included adding spaghetti to an Italian sandwich and microwaving a bottle of Mountain Dew. It just seems like
He wanted to be famous so bad.
Yeah, ridiculous
that's true.
videos, wanted fame.
Is it almost like a I don't know, like a John Lennon situation? Like I wanted to be famous so bad.
no, that was the boyfriend or girlfriend, the suspected trans person. That's the stuff they were posting. Yeah, I think this other person was pretty low key. Like he played video games and he had a Discord. But did you see the Discord came out and said the FBI is lying to you guys? He didn't say anything incriminating on our Discord, on the Discord platform.
No, did Discord say that?
Yeah, so like the FBI said, oh, not only do we have the suspect, but he admitted to it on Discord. And then Discord came out and said, like, listen, we found his account. We can look at everything, and he didn't. There's nothing pertaining to the crime on there.
So the FBI lied?
Yeah, is that surprising?
Surprise.
Well, the government lied to you. Shocking news at 12.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of all there is to that. Because the rest of it was just like almost like trivia about this dude's life. I'm like, okay, maybe we should wait for more info.
What Kash Patel said during the press conference when they got him, this is what happens when you let good police do their jobs. Bro, you guys arrested the wrong guy twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? What do you mean when you let good police do their jobs?
Yeah,
you guys,
the FBI makes mistakes too, and they're not quote-unquote good police.
Yeah. They're just regular police, but hired by the feds instead. So, in completely different news, a man arrested for clapping at Tarrant County Commissioner's Court gets case dismissed. Do you know where this is, Riley? Tarrant County?
I'm trying to remember because I looked it up once, but I don't remember where it is. I want to say Tennessee, maybe?
It'll say in here. So, there's a man holding a Palestinian flag, and it says Charles, I'm going to say Hermes. Isn't that how you say that?
Oh, okay.
A UTA lecturer in philosophy, was arrested for criminal trespassing on May 2nd, 2024. Hermes is pictured holding a Palestinian flag in a student walkout on UTA's campus on April 24th, 2024. The criminal case against a man arrested for clapping at a Tarrant County Commissioner's Court meeting has been dropped. Charles Hermes was arrested on January 28th when he clapped for a speaker after County Judge Tim O'Hare warned him not to clap. He fell to the floor as sheriff deputies moved in on him, and they carried him out by his wrists and ankles. Hermes was charged with hindering proceedings by disorderly conduct. Wow, that's so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. For disorderly conduct, for clapping for a speech after some man said so?
That is insane.
Texas.
It says a high-level misdemeanor that can be punished with up to a year in jail and a $4,000 fine.
That's insane.
The case was dismissed in July, but Hermes's attorney Mark Strife said in an interview Thursday he's still concerned about free speech at county meetings. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
The number of users who actually enjoy Facebook is down to 4, and Apple announces a new iPhone with the N-word on the back, knowing customers will buy it anyway. And now for the delayed and utterly thoughtless romantic gesture that is the Onion Week in Review. Self-identified 9/11 truther Dennis Shaw told reporters Tuesday he's absolutely convinced the United States government has orchestrated an intricate plot to systematically destroy the last 11 years of his life. Shaw, who since 2001 has spent nearly every waking minute poring over footage of the World Trade Center attack and even handing out truther pamphlets every afternoon, says the government is behind the gradual collapse of his personal and professional life, adding that the conspiracy, quote, goes all the way to the top.
Before 2001, I'd see my friend Stephen Copley every couple of weeks, and now he won't even answer my calls. The government got to him too. Think about it. My coworkers, my wife, my friends, everyone calling me crazy after September 11th and wanting nothing to do with me. What are the chances of that?
This is the Onion News Network.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. In the US, the manhunt continues to find the killer of the outspoken conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The 31-year-old was shot and killed at a Q&A event at a university in Utah on Wednesday. From Washington, here's FSN's Nick Harper.
The FBI have been releasing plenty of information in the last few hours, including photos of the suspect, highlighting several distinct identifying details, like a black T-shirt with an American flag and Converse shoes. The FBI also offering a $100,000 reward for more information. Charlie Kirk regularly took part in these type of college campus events. He was holding Q&A sessions with students, arguing the case for conservative Christian values on a whole range of topics, everything from abortion to gun control. Well, overnight, the US Vice President J.D. Vance, who knew Charlie, personally accompanied his casket to Phoenix in Arizona, where the funeral is likely to be held perhaps as early as next weekend. President Donald Trump says he does plan to attend.
FSN's Nick Harper reporting from Washington. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer continues to face questions about why he appointed a US ambassador with known links to convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The sacking of Peter Mandelson on Thursday as the UK's envoy to Washington is threatening to overshadow Donald Trump's state visit to Britain next week. The government says Mandelson was removed after new information came to light about his relationship with Epstein after his first conviction. Jim Pickard of the Financial Times says Keir Starmer's initial backing of Mandelson this week and sacking him hours later doesn't make sense.
So I don't think we can accuse Keir Starmer of lying. We can question the logic of the government's rationale for getting rid of him. So what they said was the emails that came to light showed for the first time the depth of the friendship. Well, that's not really true. And they also claimed that it was the fact that Peter Mandelson was sending him messages thinking that he might be innocent, which was the final straw. But if you turn that around, they seem to be saying that so long as Peter Mandelson thought Epstein was guilty, then everything was fine. So it didn't make any sense at all.
The former president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, has been sentenced to 27 years in prison after being found guilty of plotting a military coup. A panel of 5 Supreme Court justices handed down the sentence just hours after they had convicted the former leader. They ruled he was guilty of leading a conspiracy aimed at keeping him in power after he lost the 2022 election to his left-wing rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Bolsonaro has maintained he will run for president in 2026, despite Brazil's top electoral court barring him from running in elections until 2030 for spreading unfounded claims about Brazil's electronic voting system. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and that means that you can call 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Angelo,
Riley,
and we've been talking about all kinds of different things on the air, and we've gotten a good amount of callers. 603-283-6160 is the number to call to get in on the conversation with us. In the last segment, we were just bringing up this story, a man that got arrested for clapping at a county commissioner's court in Texas, and his case got dismissed, luckily, because
sometimes these people in robes don't think they can dismiss cases because they want to feel respected, and you got to respect the court.
I'm a judge. That's such a bureaucratic, oligarchical way of thinking. It almost feels like the judges in Britain when the colonies tried to ask for a say, we're the judges. How dare you question us, your leaders.
How dare you question our authority?
Yeah, how dare you speak with such impunity?
They're always saying, in my court. Like, we're not going to do this in my court. And it's like, I thought this was public.
Don't the taxpayers pay for that courtroom?
Yeah.
And your
it's
salary.
Like it's our court.
I've asked a judge before when I had a traffic ticket. I was like, so who do you work for? Who do you answer to? And he just doesn't answer that question. He says that he works for himself, and they don't say they work for themselves, but that's what they have been known to answer before.
I work for the people, Bonnie.
And when I asked him, he actually didn't say that. He said that he works for no one, and it's just that doesn't make any sense either. Should I be actually paying this parking ticket that's being arbitrated by a man who works for no one? Does that mean you work for yourself?
Wouldn't the correct answer be justice? Isn't that the entire point of the...
There has to be a human being you answer to, And if the answer is like the state of Utah, then you're being prosecuted and judged by the state of Utah, then there's a clear violation of interest, so that's why he avoids saying it. And then he just is like, move on. And it's just like... I mostly made that video to show how ridiculous the whole concept of court is in the United States. But yeah, they're ridiculous people. They wear a fancy dress and sit on top of a stage and have a hammer to make noise with.
Yeah,
and usually
makes
wear a powdered
for great
wig.
television
Just
though.
Yeah. What's her name? Judge Judy. Yeah. I never watched her, but I've seen clips of certain things she said that were pretty entertaining. I just hate those people. So
and I
much.
mean, there's just been a whole bunch of copycat shows too. People have built entire careers. And I don't think any of that's real. I don't think any of those people actually have to pay money. I'm pretty sure it's like Maury and it's all just set up for entertainment.
I always wonder that every time I watch anything on reality TV. It's like it could all be fake, but some of it
most
could be
likely
real.
is. Don't listen to your lying eyes.
So this guy, he had his charge dismissed, and he could have been punished with up to a year in jail and a $4,000 fine, but he's still concerned about free speech at county meetings. His lawyer said Tim O'Hare and some of the commissioners... Oh, wait, no, he said it, sorry. Tim O'Hare, which is the judge, and some of the commissioners don't like being called out for what they're doing by their constituents. The court was debating new rules of decorum at the January 28th meeting where Hermes was arrested. The new rules came out after meetings full of expulsions and arrests. The new rules came out after meetings full of expulsions and arrests. Oh, wow. O'Hare, who is in charge of enforcing commissioners' court rules, has said he's trying to run fair civil meetings. Prosecutors agreed to drop Hermes's case in exchange for Hermes taking an online class about impulse control for clapping and making a charitable donation. Did he actually do it? I'm wondering if he actually did that.
I don't know. I can't remember.
It says
a charitable donation of no less than $4,000.
Oh my gosh. It says it's what we call a conditional dismissal, he said. It's when the state is of the opinion it doesn't really need to go to trial. It's not like such a heinous case that there needs to be a strong prosecution of it. Then you shouldn't be allowed to do crap like that. You shouldn't be allowed to take someone's day away from them and bring them to court and rule that they need to give you money and possible time in jail if it's not even a big deal to anyone. That's just infuriating.
It's really frustrating that these people think they can have so much power over somebody who just clapped in a meeting.
Yeah. I mean, he clapped for a speaker. It sounds like he wasn't clapping to interrupt someone. He was clapping for a speaker after the speaker spoke. Kara News reached out to Hermes and the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office for comment, and we'll update the story if they respond. Carolina Rodriguez, a local YouTuber who films interactions with police, was also arrested at the January 28th meeting after she cussed and shouted. It's a little different. Her case went to trial where Tarrant County Prosecutor Lloyd Welchin argued the commissioner's court is allowed to enforce rules of decorum and that Rodriguez is a sensationalist who wants views. Strife, who also represented Rodriguez, said his client was being penalized for cussing, a free speech issue. I mean, I guess if it's like your time to talk and you cuss and then you're getting charged for that and arrested, that's ridiculous. I just don't know. Was she like screaming over other people and stuff?
Well, if she cusses and then the judge bangs his little gavel and goes, "You can't say that," and she says, "Yes, I can," and then it turns
Cusses
into a
more.
screaming match.
Says Judge Brian Bolton ruled Rodriguez's case didn't involve free speech. The jury convicted her and sentenced her to probation. C.J. Grisham, an attorney and Second Amendment activist, was also thrown out of the January 28th meeting for cussing, but he was not arrested. He filed a lawsuit against county officials for that expulsion and another one on January 14th. Hermes has been arrested twice for disruptions at Toronto County Commissioner's Court meetings, saying this place is like full of activism.
It sure sounds like
it's Fort Worth.
He was also arrested at a pro-Palestine protest at the University of Texas at Arlington, where he taught for years. UTA placed him on administrative leave in March, citing student complaints, but Hermes refuted that, sharing a positive employee review with the Fort Worth Report. Well, that's an interesting story. I hadn't heard of all this activism going on there, and I hope they continue to audit the county commissioners' meetings.
I hope so too, because it's important to, be involved in the community you're in as much as possible. And I think that's what we should do better here as libertarians. And I'm saying that as though I do it myself, but I don't. So I'm here telling myself I should do better at that too.
At what exactly?
At going to town meetings and things like that.
Oh, yeah. I always forget those things exist. I think it'd be more important if, like, you and I, Riley, one thing we could do that Ian and I used to do together, and I've not done it once since he's been in prison, is go to jury selections.
Okay, let's do that.
Stand outside in the cold and hand them...
I would love to do something like that and talk about jury nullification.
Yep, you give them jury nullification pamphlets and talk to them about it.
Do you want to look at when jury selection is going to happen again?
Yeah, I'll ask Ian how to do it.
Okay.
I've never looked into it myself, but...
That'd be cool. I'd love to do something like that with you. That'd be fun.
I think that is, like, maybe even more effective than going and cussing at the,
yeah,
Keene City Council or whatever. So this is a pretty big deal. Another thing, in the courts. This is from prisonlegalnews.org. Ninth Circuit agrees that former Guantanamo detainee lacks grounds to sue for waterboarding. On June 30th, 2025, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit affirmed dismissal of a complaint filed by Abu Zubaydah, that's what I'm going to say, 52, a falsely accused al-Qaeda conspirator captured after the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, who is still being held without charges as an enemy combatant by the U.S. military at its naval base in Guantanamo, Cuba.
So he's been held there for 20 years now, pretty much.
And it's saying that he's falsely accused, so,
That's absolutely ridiculous. That's an insane war crime.
I wonder if that's just him claiming that he's falsely accused versus, like, them saying he's not. And I'm not saying, oh, I don't believe him. I'm saying, why? I'm surprised that Prison Legal News can just say he's falsely accused.
Prison Legal News would definitely say that he was falsely accused.
But I want to know, like, is there some kind of, like, oh, well, we admit that he's falsely accused, but we're not going to let him go? Because I wouldn't even put that past them. You know what I mean? For a place like this, like Black...
You're a black site.
Yeah. As PLN reported, Zubaydah was wrongly called Al-Qaeda's number 3 leader when he was captured in March 2002. John Curacao, who led the joint CIA-FBI team that apprehended Zubaydah... Sorry, I'm just going to keep getting it wrong. Later confirmed that the detainee had no part in planning the attacks. So I was right. They've admitted it. That damaged the Pentagon and destroyed the World Trade Center in New York City. Yet Zubaydah was repeatedly tortured at CIA black sites, including waterboarding 83 times.
Wow.
Zubaydah sued a pair of CIA contracted psychologists, James Mitchell and John Jessen, who developed the enhanced interrogation technique repeatedly used on him over 17 days in August 2002 at a black site in Thailand. Oh my god. Oh, that's so creepy. It's like being moved all over the world, being tortured under our, dime. That's sick.
It is sick, and there are a lot of war crimes that the U.S. government has committed in the name of Americans and in the name of freedom that I think the American people would be really astonished by if they really knew the whole truth.
I love that about Dave Ridley whenever he's talking about NHexit, whenever we go to say, like, this is why, hey, state reps, this is why I think you should vote for CR 32 and let us vote on NHexit, secession. Dave Ridley always brings up, like, a picture with him of somebody being hung, and it's like, I want us to secede because I don't like the federal government because they make us pay for torture.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a really good point. And it's just like you forget about it because you don't want to think about disgusting things all day.
I know.
No, because it hurts your soul. It makes you a dark and
Mm-hmm.
evil, twisted person.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Who dances and makes TikToks about how you're happy about somebody getting killed for having a conversation.
Actually, totally agree with that. Like, I think that one thing I like about the Bible is the part where it says, keep your eyes on anything that's good. Like, focus on things that are good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that it should be, like, at all times. Like, sometimes you got to look into the dirtiness and call it out and stuff like that. But also, I think that doing nothing but looking into the nastiness all the time can actually mess with you.
It really can. It can make you into, like Angela said, it can make you into a dark person.
I used to, like, once I realized cops sucked, and like it's like we said earlier, somebody said earlier in the show, that a lot of times it takes getting actually affected by the government to be like, wait a second, this isn't fair. And then you turn libertarian. That's what happened to me. I got arrested in a ridiculous, unfair way. And then I started like looking into things. Like I was like, I want to know my rights. And then I was seeing all these like cops murdering people videos. And I was like posting them all over Facebook all the time. I was like, people should know about this.
Yeah.
And after a time, I was like, I actually can't do this anymore. I can't just think about this all day. Like I can't. It's like
it's definitely not healthy for sure.
A rabbit hole, a bad one.
Yeah, my 8th grade teacher's the one who got me into it. He showed us cop block videos, and it was U.S. history in 8th grade. And he made a huge deal about the Bill of Rights and like your right to say no to searches and seizures and how to talk to police. And he gave everybody pocket constitutions. And
That's really cool. That's a really cool teacher.
Oh, he was the best.
Is he still employed?
He was tenured, so he kind of did whatever he wanted, man. He didn't have to follow the leftist agenda. I think he just retired. He was also a football coach for like 30 years. Great guy, fantastic guy. Was all about open discourse and would debate you. He was a fantastic dude. I really looked up to him. He was almost like a dad to me. So, I mean, that relationship came afterwards. You know, after that was more like high school football stuff. But yeah, he was a great dude. Introduced me to like the idea of like really inalienable rights, and like how precious they are, and how your right to be a human, it does not come from another human. It's not from even an elected individual. Your right to exist you can't take that away from you, no matter how you cut it.
In Utah, I had a teacher that was like awful in so many ways, but she was awesome in some ways. And I remember this one time she never cussed. She was a Mormon, and she got mad at us because we were learning the Bill of Rights, which is just like we were just being normal teenagers or whatever, and like getting distracted and like talking to each other. And she threw her water bottle on the ground and said like, if you don't know your rights, then anyone can tell you whatever they damn well want you to think they are. And we were all like, because she like never cussed. She said damn well, and we were like staring like like, oh my god, she's serious. But yeah,
mine was he'd get up on the desk and like fake shoot people, and like he'd like be like, what do you do if I want to kill you? And they're like, well, you can't. And it's wrong. And he goes, why? Well, because I don't want you to. He's like, well, I don't care what you want, but you know, if you believe in this idea of inalienable rights, then that's what makes it wrong. Like, where's this moral framework coming from, and why is it wrong for me to do whatever I want? And you know, because he'd make it as fantastical as possible to, you know, because he wanted to rope a 12-year-old kid's mind into it. So let's get up on the desk and do a bunch of crazy antics. And
yeah, that's
and he's doing this in like his 70s. Attention. He's like a 70-year-old man doing this, right? So I mean, he was in insane shape. Guy was a monster, but like 6'4", jacked old guy status.
Was his name RFK?
No, his name was Robert Krebin. He's a legend.
Nice.
At least in my community, he is. Back home, helped a lot of people. I met a man. I was working at a farm store, and he came in and he was like, "What high school did you go to?" And I told him, and he was like, he was just driving a semi truck, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't live here anymore, but I grew up here." And does that guy still work there? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I've known him for pretty much my whole life. And he's like, yeah, well, that guy saved my life. He taught me what it meant to be like a person. So he, 30 years of service for his community. He's a great guy.
That's awesome. Sounds like, I mean, I kind of believe that maybe people used to be more likely to be good people when they became teachers. I'm not saying there's zero now, but there probably were a lot more.
He didn't become a good person when he became a teacher.
No, sorry, I might have said that wrong. I meant to say it used to probably be the case that you were actually a good person, and then you're like, oh, I'll become a teacher. But today it's like a lot fewer.
I think, yeah. A lot of it has to do with sports. Like if you want to coach, you got to teach, and you just make more money. There's no money outside of Texas. Being like a high school head football coach, you're not gonna make any livable money. You're not gonna have a wife and kids. Like they don't give you, I don't think, like $30,000 maybe, a year. Like you can't. Well, I'm just saying it's just a terribly low wage. You can't survive. So if you teach and coach, well then you'll make enough money to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying if you teach and coach, you can't make a livable wage.
No, I was saying if you just coached, like it becomes a lot of teachers. The best teachers I had were coaches because they didn't become teachers to teach. They became teachers because they wanted to coach.
I would have to push back on that for my experience in Texas, at least. Like the worst teachers I ever had were only there because they wanted to be a coach. They were just completely stupid. Like I had this one that would make us watch these videos of like, I'm a black girl and I don't like the fact that everybody around me had straight hair and they liked their straight hair, so it's racist and crap like that.
Well, that's totally different. Some people are. There's different levels to coaching. Like a lot of it is people who are in it for the kids. Like a good coach who wants to. It's not about like being good at football. It's about being able to show up on time and do hard work and grow as an individual and put effort into a team. I mean those are skills that go with you through your entire life. And I learned
but it's also like, is that useful for like somebody being an English teacher? Like I had like the most illiterate, stupid football coach. English teacher. It's just like,
no,
God,
but that's how the system we have set up is that they make more money teaching.
Yeah, exactly. And that was Texas, so it could be a different situation there. And then it's like, oh well, everybody's passing if you're on the football team, stuff like that. Not that that didn't affect me.
Yeah, that should be rooted out. I'm not agreeing with all the negative aspects of it, but I just know that a lot of the best relationships I had, maybe just because I was an athlete and I got to have a relationship with them outside of the classroom. But a lot of my favorite teachers were coaches. Even if they didn't coach my sport, a lot of my favorite, even the female like coaches and teachers.
A teacher that instantly came to mind. Oh man, I'm gonna forget his name. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but it's funny because he was a coach as well. I don't remember if it was football or not. Honestly, I don't remember. But you're like, oh, I had a relationship with him outside of school. He married a girl from my grade, and
my track coach married
a girl from your grade?
Not my grade, but as soon as she turned 18. Buddy,
it was as soon as she turned 18 too, but she was
she was like, I think.
She was our valedictorian in a large class, so she was actually
She was in her 20s when I was in high school, so it happened like right before. I was probably like 12 when that happened.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You're like, and I had a relationship outside. Oh, how close was it, Angelo?
Oh, with my coaches? I mean, some of them were so young. Like when I was 18, they're 23, like volunteer guys. So like I would just go hang out with them. and there was more of an open dialogue, right? Because we're so much closer in age. Like my head coach, my senior year was like 23, 24, and we were all 18-year-olds.
Dang.
And it was like having an older brother as the head coach. I mean, we loved it. We went all in for him. We loved him to death. But he treated us like adults.
It'd be hard to ring in.
Well, if we went too far, we loved him so much that we didn't care. Because he's just one of the guys, and like you didn't want to disappoint him. Like he's our friend and our coach. So like when you want coaches that can make you want to run through a brick wall for them.
Riley, did you have any? Did you only go to public school the whole time?
I only went to public school. I probably had some coaches as teachers, but I thought they were pretty decent as history teachers or whatever. So
yeah, all my favorite ones were history and science teachers.
Yeah,
those are just like usually the funnest teachers anyway. I had an amazing science teacher for physics. he would be like kind of a nerd, and maybe you wouldn't think much of him if you just saw him on the street. He was like a trombone player for some like symphony thing, and maybe trombone's not the right one, I don't know, in Utah. And he really cared about that and talked about it a lot, and he was like really nerdy, like missionary Mormon type guy. He kind of looked Napoleon Dynamite with like super curly hair, except like he was way more like fancy dressed, and he was the physics teacher. And he made me, when I was going into it, I had done like 2 months in Texas with a coach physics class, and I was like, this is awful, I hate this subject so much. And then by the end of, then I moved to Utah, and I loved physics, and I thought it was so interesting.
Physics is it's a hard, easy class to teach. Like if you really go all in on physics, where you can do all the demonstrations.
He made it like magical.
Yeah, when you can do all the demonstrations and like light stuff on fire and throw an axe at your head and not have it hit you, or whatever crazy stuff they can do.
It's like he was so into it that he would be like, in this subject of it, or this unit is really interesting to me because like I like this part of it and this application. And
it's almost like a Bill Nye episode every day.
Yeah,
it sounds like your teacher was so involved in the subject and knew so much about it that he wanted to share his passion with you.
And guess
that's
what?
really important.
He wasn't there the second year I went to school there because he apparently didn't have a license to teach.
Oh,
and they
wow.
kicked him out. And it's like, he was the best teacher, Mr. King. He was awesome.
Wow.
And he was also super young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
they tried to make me a substitute teacher right when COVID happened. I went to go back and coach high school football, so I was with the freshmen every day. And I've taken a break from that because I was like, I'm 21 years old, bro. I'm not as well versed as my coach was. I can't handle 14-year-olds. These guys are crazy. I gotta get a little bit older before I can go back. Maybe I can go back soon, but I've given it a few years. But I went back and coached them, and they were like, well, I needed a job because it was COVID and everything just falling apart. And they're like, why don't you become a substitute teacher? You have enough college credits. And I was like, brother, I'm 21. I'm not about to go sit in a classroom full of 18-year-olds, like
the
seniors.
teacher said we don't have to do that.
Well, not even the teachers don't say we have to do that. 3 years is, that's not that long. Those are the 18-year-olds I would have been teaching were the freshmen.
Yeah.
They're not going to respect me at all. They're not going to listen to me at all, dude. I might have like hit on some of them at some point in my high school career, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going in to teach these kids. No way. So, I think good
it sounds
teachers.
like how to work at a school to me.
Well, I think they're just desperate for good teachers. Nobody wants to be a teacher. The kids are animals right now. Ripping. I remember the Boont Gang or hitting licks. Do you remember that?
No.
Where the kids were just going into the classrooms, or not the classrooms, but the bathroom, and they would just hit a lick and take out the toilet.
What does that mean?
Like rip the toilet out of the ground.
Oh my god.
Or rip down the stall, or take the sink off the wall.
Ew. That's like stuff that happens in like the prison.
Like
apparently.
for like TikTok. It's the same. Prison and school is the same thing.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's been Free Talk Live. More Free Talk Live at freetalklive.com. Thanks for listening. Peace.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs.
As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies